Hey everybody, welcome to Lorebeards 40,000.
Why?
Oh, hi, hello.
Ah,
Today we're going to do a tier list, and it's a tier list that you, the viewers, the lore seekers, have voted on. We have a post on our section on our YouTube page. If you want to go there, we put up polls every week for what we're going to do. And everybody voted this time. Well, not everybody, but the majority of people voted this time for the Heresy era legions to be ranked on a tier list. So that's what we're here to do.
now, I did argue that demons should be included, but this is apparently the demonic legions aren't a legion.
Not by the terminology that we're using today. Oh my god, it's so exciting to be here. We're going to be doing our tier list here in just a second, but we need to introduce ourselves first.
We do.
Would you like to begin?
Okay, yeah, I guess I'll go. Hi everyone, my name is Norn Queen Alexis. I am a Viking reenactor, a Warhammer enthusiast, and a person who can't control their own income.
Wow. I like that. I like that.
I mean, if you look at my table in the back, there is a lot of stuff on it. That definitely counts as an oopsie daisy.
Just look behind me and you can see how I've, wasted a large portion of my income as well. Hi, everybody. I'm Ross Watson. I'm a game designer and author. I have worked on a whole bunch of Warhammer 40k roleplay books. I've worked on several Warhammer 40k video games. I was on the US White Dwarf team for a couple of years, and I basically wrote the book on the Inquisition, Rogue Traders, and the Death Watch. So that's why I'm here today. So we are going to be looking at some Heresy era legions. We're going to talk about them, and Alexis is going to tell you what we're going to rank them on, and also ways that you, the viewers, can get involved in the tier list.
Yes, I am definitely going to do that, and I totally remembered what they are. I'm definitely not going to look at my notes really quickly and filibuster until I get
Totally
there.
not. Totally not. No, she's absolutely prepared for this.
Alrighty, so we're going to base them on 3 different criteria, okay? Their effectiveness in the heresy, whether good nor well, actually, it's all evil. It's just perspective, but how efficient they were during the heresy itself, not how efficient they were during the Crusade or the Scouring, or technically the Siege of Terra, but that still counts as the heresy,
No,
right?
Siege of Terra is part of the heresy.
Yeah. Even though GW tried to separate it for some reason, but we're counting them on their effectiveness during the heresy. We are counting them on style points, like do they look the part? Do they look beautiful? Do they look magnificent? Do they look horrific? And then finally, their unique units. Now, several different legions all have their own unique Terminators, and we need to talk about all of them because everyone got to, well, a unique Terminator and a unique thing that's not really in Terminator armor. And if you, the viewers, disagree with us in any way, shape, or form, and you're like, Alexis, you're big wrong and dumb. In fact, I am correct and big brain and sexy. I am going to donate $10 and have my guy, my legion, my personal heraldry, switch to a different tier. Or I see that you put this legion in top, and that is clearly a bottom legion. Yeah, make of that as you will. Don't quote that. That's probably going to be in a short. All right. So, Ross,
I got to admit, I'm a little disappointed that a lot of our craziest things have not yet been clipped.
So, they will. They will.
I'm sure someday, but so far I keep waiting for every day. I'm like, okay, is it up yet? No. Okay, thank God. Thank God. So far people are being nice to us, and I'm okay with this. But it's going to happen one of these days.
Yeah. All right. So. These are our legions. And Ross, before we get into that, Chad is talking about it already, so I have to talk about it. There's a sequel to The Infinite and the Divine coming out very soon.
Ooh, that's cool. I'm excited.
What was the name of it? It is the Warped and the Wicked.
Nice.
And again, it's 2 angry old men.
Listen, I've read a bunch of Robert Rath books by this point, including Void Scarred. I can tell you, if that guy writes a book, I want to read it. And if he writes if it's a sequel to Infinite Divine, I definitely want to read it. So I'm excited. This is actually very, very cool.
Yep. I'm super excited.
One of our chatters has just threatened to make a weekend out of listening to our shows and clipping all the weird shit.
You know what? If you could do that, I wouldn't even be mad.
Jazina question. Wow.
Oh my God. Do you know what you should do? Do
What?
an entire clip compilation of us just going, you know, the breathing ones.
You could probably have a super, what do they call those? Supercut. There you go. You can have a supercut of me saying it depends and a supercut of you saying hear me out. So
absolutely love it.
But it depends on various things. And hear me out. We need to start this tier list or we're going to get crazy.
All right. So here are our legions. You guys probably know some of them or all of them.
I will hope they know all of them. But if they don't, I'm here to talk about some of them. Why don't we start with the first legion, the best legion,
the
most loyal
legions,
the most loyal legion.
Yeah. Cult of Alexis saying Jakaro.
Yeah, cut of Jakaro,
Cut of Alexis saying. I heard Cult of Alexis, and I'm just like, look, I'm not ready for that yet. Still, we got the Dark Angels.
Correct. This is the first legion, and they are led by Lionel Johnson. They are possibly the most flexible and elite strategic tool in the Emperor's arsenal during the Great Crusade. They didn't really specialize in any one particular thing unless you count like really advanced technology, because they have a whole bunch of it. And they were deployed where the fighting is most complex and most dangerous. Now, when the Heresy broke out, of course, they were very far from Terra. They became entangled in internal strife on their home world. Very, very famously became basically half the Legion fought the other half of the Legion over their home world and destroyed it. We have a whole episode on The Rock. Go check that out if you want to hear more about that whole event. But basically, elements of their Legion were tainted by treachery on their homeworld of Caliban. They had to go to war against themselves a little bit. But despite this, after that was all over, the Legion as an institution remained loyal to the Emperor and fought against traitor forces. And later, they shrouded everything that happened on Caliban in the deepest of secrecies. So in terms of effectiveness in the Heresy, unfortunately, they're not very effective. They didn't do much.
Well, hold on. They are very effective at killing Night Lords.
I mean, they did. I mean, they were involved in some battles. It's true. But I think in terms of effectiveness in the Heresy, like that first rating, they're actually pretty low. Like they didn't get to do a whole lot.
I am sad to agree with you on that one. The Dark Angels were pushed all the way to the side, but Horus Lupercal did say that if he had the lion, he would have won. Like just flat out, if he had the lion, he would have won.
But that's a I think we have to say that they're definitely not S tier because of the effectiveness issue. But here's a couple of counterpoints. Style is one of the criteria.
And they got drip.
They got drip. They got big time drip. Their models look amazeballs. And secondly, they have some of the best special units. Because they have the Inner Circle Knights Cenobium, they have the Interruptors, they have the Exindio Battle Automata, they have Firewing assassination groups. They have a lot of really cool special units.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say, for me, all told, everything put together, I think they belong in A tier.
Ooh. Okay. I'm gonna agree with you on that one.
What? Okay,
yeah.
I was expecting some pushback. I was expecting like settle for B, but all right.
Look,
rock and roll.
Dark Angels are my personal favorite chapter and legion. They are the coolest.
We are in agreement.
I would bump them up to S tier, like if I had my way. But when it comes to the Dark Angels, they have that style. They have effectiveness on the battlefield. They have the strength. They have the numbers, which is one of the most random. Like, because they were pushed so far back, when they came through for the Scouring, they came in force and blew away almost all of the Traitor Legions. Like, they were cutting off supply lines, destroying everything. Even those that made it to Terra during the Siege of Terra, which definitely wasn't a retcon. Uh, totally not a retcon that they made it there. Only some of them. They were super efficient on the battlefield itself. Granted, they weren't talked about too much, but still, their unique units are so powerful that we had to put limits on them in our Heresy group because the Interrupters were the
Yeah.
most powerful special unit in the game.
Yeah, I was told the gentleman does not bring more than one squad of Interrupters.
Yeah. We had a rule for every 3,000 points, you bring 10.
That's about right. That's about right. Yeah,
Because I
they're just
remember
scary
when I
good.
was playtesting them, and Fulgrim and his Palatine Terminators jumped out of a Mastodon. It was a full 10-man unit of Terminators, the spears and everything. And I just went, oh, cool. I'll shoot them. And they all died, including Fulgrim.
Plasma flamers are a bitch.
Yes.
Plasma flamers are a bitch.
I am saying A tier.
All right.
Easy.
I think I agree with that. I do.
And again, everyone, if you disagree with us on any of this, for all of you that are new just joining in, for a $10 super chat, you can move something anywhere on this tier list. You could be like, Ross, you don't know what you're talking about. Obviously, the Dark Angels belong in S. Or Alexis, you're dumb and wrong. Iron Warriors are in the trash. We haven't gotten to Iron Warriors yet, but yeah.
I mean, yeah. Funnily enough, like I had a feeling that this tier list was going to either be really great or really like it was either going to be awesome or terrible. And so I don't know. We'll see how this goes.
Yep.
Next up is the Emperor's Children, the Third Legion. Now these guys, you'll hear me say. I think I've said this before in the show, but I'll say it again. The legions, the Heresy era legions, are almost always cooler and more interesting than their 40k equivalents. And the Emperor's Children are like one of the best examples of this for me because I just adore the Heresy era children. I don't like them once they are fully corrupted and doing all the big tongues and stuff like that. But the pre-Heresy ones are just super cool. Not only have a great paint scheme, but their characters are really interesting. Their lore is really interesting, and their style of combat is really interesting because they were commanded by Fulgrim, and he was obsessed with perfection in warfare, in discipline and aesthetics. So his guys were not only loaded with drip. This is yet another very stylish legion, but they're
Perfect
also
hair, mind you.
They also they sought perfection, and the way that they fought was extremely. We talked about the Dark Angels having complex battle strategies. The Emperor's Children were like the masters of this. In fact, one of their captains, Solomon Demeanor, was like, "I'm just going to go up the middle because everybody else knows exactly what to do." In the Heresy, and that was really, really cool. Of course, they prided themselves on immaculate formations and precise assaults and a reputation as the exemplars of imperial honor because they had earned the right to wear the Palatine Aquila on their armor, which was the Emperor's personal symbol. This is why they were called the Emperor's Children. However, of course, during the Heresy, Fulgrim and much of his legion fell to the temptations of excess and sensation. They became one of the first legions.
God forbid they have a hobby.
Not the first, but one of the first legions to wholeheartedly embrace chaos and eventually Slaanesh. Hey, you've got tattoos of that guy.
Yeah, I do. Tattoo here and then Marcus Slaanesh. So I really need to add more to this.
I mean, that's up to you, but I think they look great. I would say that the Emperor's Children, though, their quest for perfection is what led them into their corruption because it warped their pursuit of ever more extreme experiences and turned them into a traitor legion, infamous for cruelty and artistic sadism and their weird sound weapons, which is one of their special units. They had a group called the Cacophony, which
Yeah,
was a
sound-based weapons that shake you apart.
that's right. That's absolutely right.
It's
And
such a cool weapon.
they also have the Palatine Blades, which was an elite duelist melee infantry with very high-end like power swords and turnable blades and things like that. Turnable blades were a dueling weapon that it's kind of like imagine a katana that's been folded 400 times, like a really custom-made, super sharp dueling blade. That's what a turnable blade is. They also had the Phoenix Terminators. These guys looked really good. They
Yeah,
looked
they did.
really good. Phoenix Terminators look cool as shit. They're armed with Phoenix Spears, which are a specific form of power weapon. They were one of the few entirely melee-oriented Terminators. There were no ranged weapons. They were just like, no, we're going out there with spears, and we're going to kill everything we can reach.
They also have one of my favorite units, the Sun Killers.
The Sun Killers. That's right. It was a heavy weapon squad of nothing but las cannons.
Yep.
All las cannons all the time.
They just looked for a tiny bead of light and boom, killed it. It was great. I love the Sun Killers.
In terms of effectiveness in the Heresy, highly effective. They were at almost every major engagement. They were at Isstvan 3, they were at Isstvan 5, they were involved in just almost everything. So I would say their effectiveness is high. I think their style is also very high, and I think their special units maybe not quite as good as the Space Dark Angels, but pretty good.
Yeah, their special units are where they kind of fall apart. The Sound Marines are good, but a unit of plasma is a little bit better. But the Sound Marines the Cacophony are so iconic to their Legion that it shows you how corrupted they became. They also have one of the most infamous characters in all of 40K ever, Fabius Bile.
That's right.
But they weren't that effective during the Siege of Terra. In fact, their lack of efficiency is what ultimately doomed the Iron Warriors to a defeat.
True. There's a lot going on in the Siege Terra, and this is where they stop being a Legion and start being a Chaos Warband, basically. Yep. And I think once all the Legions transition to their fully corrupted Chaos Space Marine forms, they lose a lot of one of the things that I really liked about them. That's not to say that I only like them if they're loyal. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I like their aesthetic and their approach to war before they've switched. So
yep. I would give them, because they fumbled the Siege of Terra, I'd give them a 5 out of 10 as effective. Like during the Heresy, super effective. But fumbling the Siege of Terra, that's huge. In fact, even 2 other Primarchs, Chaos Primarchs, Horus and Proturbo, were just like, if Fulgrim could focus for more than 15 seconds, we could win. But the second that Fulgrim lost his fight to Rogel Doran, which technically, yes, he did win because he's immortal, but he got his pride broken and then ran away. I count that as a defeat, mind you. But when Fulgrim fled and just decided to kill civilians instead of actually commit to the battle, that was the turning point for the Imperium. Because that's when House Mortis started appearing, and then House Sinister engaged them. That's also at the same time where Janitha Krall was killed, unfortunately. But the Imperium started pushing them back a bit. And they knew they couldn't hold forever, not without the Dark Angels and the Ultramarines and the Blood Angels there, but they could hold. And that was one of the biggest fumbles in the entire Heresy. And it's squarely on the Emperor's Children.
I got to be honest, I'm still thinking A tier. High B, low A is where I'm coming in.
Okay. I would agree to this.
Yeah. Okay. Fair.
Maybe top of B.
Okay. I'm still okay with this.
Yeah.
I'm still okay with this. B. All right, now we get to the Iron Warriors. The Warriors of Iron. Iron within and Iron without.
Iron shake it all about. Iron Warriors are first off, Iron Warriors are one of the fan favorite factions in all of Warhammer 40k. I can guarantee you, if you know a couple of Heresy players, one of them has an Iron Warriors army. They are so goddamn cool. They have won more battles than almost anybody else. They were super efficient during the Heresy. If Perturabo had Fulgrim Focus, he would have won.
Yeah. They are the 4th Legion. They're led by the Primarch Perturabo, and they spent the Great Crusade grinding their way through the absolute worst sieges, fortress assaults, and defensive campaigns. They were used poorly in the Great Crusade, is another way to put it. They value mathematics and logic. They value engineering and relentless artillery over glory. Personal glory is just not a big thing for them. They were often assigned the most brutal and thankless tasks. They were the ones sent to crack open the citadels or to hold impossible lines. They became the masters of siege warfare, but it bred this very deep resentment towards the Imperial's leadership, and I would say very well earned resentment. The bitterness that they hold, it helped push them into Horus's camp, and they became a cornerstone of all the traitor siege operations. They played pivotal roles with large-scale assaults such as the Siege of Terra. They were also deeply involved in Istvan 5. They nuked Vulcan on Istvan 5. Fun fact. Straight up nuked him. Nuclear weapons were used, and they deployed them. Didn't kill Vulcan for various reasons.
I do love that nuclear weapons are one of those random things in 40k where they're both common and rare at the same time. Like Reaver Titans and Titan households just shoot them off of their shoulders. The Deathstrike missile is a nuke. And then they're like, we don't use nuclear weapons that often. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? That thing has a rack of like 18 on it.
The Iron Warriors have expertise in fortifications and orbital bombardments and attritional warfare, and put it to very, very, very good use. So effectiveness-wise, unquestionably A tier. Like they were necessary and involved at almost every level.
I will say the caution stripe drip goes so goddamn hard. I love that they have caution signs on it, and it's part of their so they know what it means. They are aware that it is a joke, but it's a joke told to you by a guy who doesn't like you, and you hate to admit that it's funny because you want to be mad at them. The caution tape shoulder pads is super cool to me.
No, there's some awesome pictures of Iron Warriors. They look really, really good. They look really damn good. And they're special. Let's talk about some of their special units. They had the Tyrant Siege Terminators, the very first Terminators to go into battle with missile launchers on their backs.
Which were so efficient that Gilliman copied them.
Yes, the Fulminators.
The Fulminators are just a copy of the Tyrant Siege Terminators. Also, Tyrant Siege Terminators, the second coolest sounding Terminators out of all of them.
They also have the Iron Havocs, which these would go on to become the backbone of Chaos's forces in the 40th, 10,000 years later. Basically, all heavy weapons groups in Chaos Space Marines are called Havocs now, thanks to these guys. They were very, very. They had improved accuracy, and they could blow things apart like walls of fortifications. This was a particular heavy weapons squad that was actually really, really good. They also had the Iron Circle, which were the robots that Perturabo surrounded himself with as a bodyguard, which his normal bodyguard absolutely hated.
They also had the custom Baneblade.
That's right. Yeah,
a Baneblade with a void shield.
Yeah, that was Perturabo's personal ride,
which ironically couldn't transport him and his bodyguard, a full bodyguard with him. He always had to take one less.
That's why That's why
Everyone
Spartans were
just
so
ghost
useful.
ruled it. Was just like, no, what you could take them.
That's why most people choose a Spartan.
Yeah.
There's also fantastic characters. Beyond Perturabo himself, there's a guy called Barnabas d'Antioch, who is a loyalist Iron Warrior and an absolute unit. He is a Chad. Big fan of Barnabas d'Antioch. So yeah, I think easy S tier for the Iron Warriors.
I 100% agree. Without the Iron Warriors, the heresy couldn't happen.
Also, we get one of the best lines during the Siege of Terra when the word bearers are like, "Hey, quit dropping artillery on the front lines. You're hitting us and your own men." And Perturabo's like, "Have faith, word bearer," and just
Yeah, that
laughs.
is a good one.
Just lolls into the box and shuts it off.
That's why I think he has a sense of humor. Like he has one of the greatest senses of humor, but you don't want to like it.
Perturabo's so it's a tragic thing because the potential of Perturabo is huge, and he just got treated so poorly that you can't help but say, yeah, you were. It makes perfect sense why you turn against the Imperium, dude. I would have to.
And even during the heresy, he realized that Horus was doing the same thing. And when he abandoned the heresy, he realized it wasn't the war that he wanted. And he wants to properly siege the Imperium. Not the long war. He wants to do well, it is a long war, but it's not the long war as in Abaddon's war.
No.
He actually talked to Abaddon during the Siege of Terra, and he questioned Abaddon for speaking to him like he was. And Abaddon actually got through to him and was like, no, this isn't your war.
If there's any question, comes in with a super chat. He says, cannot have a traitor being ranked higher than the first. Deploy the Dreadwing.
I was
wait. I think he's saying that the Iron Warriors need to be dropped to below the Dark Angels. I think is what he's saying.
Yeah.
The Dark Angels were A tier, remember?
Oh, okay. So like this.
Boop. Yeah, I think that's what he's asking for there.
Okay. It bugged me a lot when I learned the lore that the Dreadwing isn't just dreadnoughts.
I understood why it was called the Dreadwing after I read about it, because the destroyers, they're the destroyer company, essentially. Yes. But I can see why you get pissed.
I was like, Dreadwing, it's all dreadnoughts. That's amazing. They probably have like 1,000 dreadnoughts. And it's like, no, it's actually their like plasma flamer guys, the chemical flamer weapons, and
rad
all
missiles.
Those guys, and the rad missiles,
which are super rad.
Yeah, they're tubular, bro.
Wow. 90s kids unite. All right. I should also, this is the part of the show where I say super chats are the absolute best way to keep Lorebeards 40K content coming your way. They support the channel. They support us directly. We're always very grateful to anybody who supports us with super chat. So thank you. If there's any question. Also, don't forget that is how you move things around on this particular tier list if you disagree with our decisions.
Because obviously we are dumb and wrong.
I mean, I'm willing to admit I have biases, and so do you. So there it is.
Look, Ross. We don't have a bias. It's just the Dark Angels are better than everyone.
They are really cool. Heresy era specifically, super cool.
I love them in both settings. They're just awesome in both.
I mean, I do love them in both, but I love them more. I'm more of a pre-Heresy guy than I am a post-Heresy guy.
That's fair. That's
for almost all of these legions. White Scars, 5th Legion. Let's talk about them.
All right, let's mention all of their lore and everything that they've done. Okay, I'm done.
Ooh, ouch.
So the White Scars, unironically, were completely forgotten about by most of the writers. And then that was made part of their lore when, because, what was it? Malgador the Sigillite mentioned that they were supposed to be secretive. And it's like, you guys forgot, didn't you? It's like, yeah, we didn't want to write racial stereotypes by accident.
Oof. We do have a super chat from Biofoot. Thank you, Biofoot. He says, are all Space Marines? All are Space Marines. None are Fishmen. That makes them all F tier. Technically, all Space Marines are Fishmen because they can all breathe water. Just pointing that out.
Yeah.
So the White Scars, they were led by Jagatai Khan. They developed a culture of speed, mobility, hit and run tactics during the Great Crusade. They often fought using bike formations and fast-moving mechanized forces. Jet bikes and land speeders were some of their favorite tools.
Which is really funny. In 40K, or in 30K, they have some of the most efficient bikes. And then it goes the Raven Wing. The White Scar bikers, just better. But in 40K, the Raven Wing is so much better.
Sorry, Ricardo Andre is asking a question. He's like, Space Marines can breathe underwater? Yeah, it's the multi-lung. They have an implant called the multi-lung that lets them breathe underwater.
Yeah.
But Firefoot says technicalities. They aren't fishmen in their souls because they have none. Wow. Yikes. I love it. All right, so going back to the White Scars, their campaigns emphasized rigid compliance and flanking maneuvers and lightning strikes that encircled or bypassed enemy strong points rather than grinding them down. The White Scars were all about motion and more elegant types of battle than just smashing your face into the enemy, basically. When the Heresy erupted, the White Scars initially had a major problem with conflicting loyalties around half of their legion, not unlike the Dark Angels. Around half of their legion was like, maybe we should go with Horus. But unlike the Dark Angels, they were able to talk it out.
In fact, well, they did kill a lot of them themselves. Let's be clear about that. They did fight themselves a bit, but
it didn't turn into a war, though.
No, Nathaniel Garrow was actually attacked by two heretic White Scars in one of his first books, and they killed a custodian. But back in the first book of Nathaniel Garrow, custodians weren't what they are right now. They were kind of weaker, but they were also in the gold armor, but they weren't as strong. Yeah, custodians went through a lot during the Heresy.
Yeah, they had the White Scars had a lot of pressures from within about what course they should take, but ultimately the Khan is the one who committed them to the Emperor. They used their mobility to harry the traitor forces, and they were a major part of the Siege of Terra. They were quick reaction forces. They were counterattacking and disrupting assaults. They weren't holding static lines, but they were harrying the shit out of the traitors at the Siege of Terra. So effectiveness in the Heresy is, they don't have a lot of roles, but they do play a part at the biggest role of them all. So I'm kind of a 5 out of 10 in terms of effectiveness.
My big thing is the thing that was supposed to make them big and bad was killing Mortarion, defeating Mortarion, and they didn't do it.
No.
Like, Jagatai Khan eventually lost the fight to Mortarion, but Super Saiyan Garrow did beat Mortarion with the help of a living saint and going God mode and then dying in the process. So without him, Mortarion wouldn't have been defeated. Just putting that out there. But he didn't win, and he didn't hold the spaceport.
They do get style points. They have some really, they look good.
Have some of the most unique looking land speeders. They have bikes with actual cavalry spears.
They got a praetor. They got a praetor with a falcon on his arm, which is just freaking awesome.
They have so many cool models, but I can't name any of their unique characters.
People are asking in chat how much it is to move things around, so you should probably.
Sorry, everyone. To move anything around is $10 donation. You can take something that is in one tier and move it somewhere else. Or you can, if we are talking about the Legion currently, you could take that Legion and put it somewhere, regardless of what we say.
And you can give something a shield if it's already in a place you want it to be.
Yes, which means that it can't be moved.
Correct.
And that is just a $10 donation through Super Chat. It helps us out immensely.
The shield can be overcome, but yeah. It makes it more expensive to move it.
Now, I'm gonna be honest with you, Ross. I'm putting them in D.
Well, hang on. There's one last criteria.
Okay.
And this is unfortunately where the White Scars do fall flat on their face. They're special units, the Golden Keshig and the Ebon Keshig. Not great. They don't look good. They don't perform well.
I like them. They're better in third edition, but they're still pretty bad. But third edition is a terrible system. Yeah, that they're kind of just, they don't get cover saves. They can barely react because they don't have weapons.
It's cool concepts. Like the Ebed Keshik as an idea is very, very cool, but it's just
their land speeders are awesome.
Their land speeders are. They have a special land speeder that's actually really, really good.
Yeah.
So there's that. I think D is too low. I would say, honestly, okay, this may be just my biases coming into play, but I would say B because they were so pivotal at the Siege of Terra.
Yeah.
So I'd say top of C, bottom of B, maybe.
I'm going to go top of C.
Okay.
There was a comment here from Ricardo Andre that I want to answer real quick. If I remember, Jagatai did kill Mortarion. Yes, he killed Mortarion like 50 times. The problem was that Mortarion was invincible. As a mortal, Garrow intervened was before Jagatai intervened. No, he already pushed through. He was pushing through and he was advancing on Erda. Not Erda. Euphrates Keeler. That's the saint, right?
That's the saint, yeah. The first saint.
And then his sacrifice got her out of there. I believe that's his timeline. I could have it wrong. I could have it mixed up. But regardless, his wound, he cut Mortarion's throat with a saintly powered weapon. So that wound is still on Mortarion to this day. It's just like rotted over. All right.
Now we get to the Space Wolves, the Vilka Fenrica.
Oh my god, I hate that name.
That's what they're called, the 6th Legion.
I know.
I didn't come up with it. Don't get mad at me.
I unironically love the Space Wolves.
I do too. I have been a Space Wolf fan almost as long as I've been a Blood Angel and Dark Angel fan. They're one of the best legions, one of the best chapters. And in fact, this is honestly, the Space Wolves is one of those few places where I say I actually prefer the post-Heresy Space Wolves to the pre-Heresy Space Wolves, which is a weird thing to say. It's one of the rare times where I'm like, no, I kind of prefer the 40K version.
I agree. But we have a super chat right here.
Spitfire coming in with a steel chair. He says, move the Iron Warriors back to their rightful place in S tier with a shield, an eternal fortress, if you will. Very good, Spitfire. We have iron within and iron without.
Iron shake it all about.
Oh, that's so good. So good.
Now, I will say this. I really like the Space Wolf Primarch, Leman Russ. I really love Bjorn the Fell-Handed. I like the other Fell-Handed, but I can't ever remember his name. I think it's actually just Fjord Fell-Handed, which is a really dumb name. I like a bunch of their stuff, and I like the fact that Leman Russ almost ended the heresy right then and there if he didn't hesitate, potentially. But then you get into the if-ends and whether or not the Spear of the Emperor could actually kill Horus. I like their unique units. I like the Wolf Guard. I like their kill squads. I like the raccoon helmet that they have, which is definitely a raccoon and not a wolf.
Oh my god.
I will always point that out, that it's a raccoon and not a wolf. But overall, they did a bit. But
Yeah,
we do have...
Whoa! Sebastian Muller, thank you for the memberships. That's awesome, dude.
Hell yeah.
Just gave out 10 memberships to people. That is super cool. Really appreciate you, sir.
And we found out these are randomly assigned, so don't worry.
We don't have to get involved. That's the best part.
Yes.
Honestly, that's the best part of anything, so I don't have to get involved. So the Space Wolves were led by Leman Russ, and they were the Emperor's executioners during the Great Crusade. They combined ferocious close combat assaults with a reputation for being unleashed on worlds that needed harsh correction, if you will. Their culture draws on Fenrisian warrior traditions, which is very Viking-like.
It's Hollywood Vikings, not actual Vikings.
True. But they emphasize pack tactics, personal bravery, and aggressive spearhead attacks. During the Heresy period, go ahead.
The fact that the Space Wolves don't have a woman like a 10-woman unit called the Valkyries is criminal.
It is.
And they should have a Sister of Battle like detachment that serves with them. Like, oh my god, they should. Or in the Heresy, it should have been Sisters of Silence, and they could have just been called the Wolfen Valkyria, and it would have been so cool.
Gygor Fellhand. That's the one you were thinking of.
Yes, Gygor.
Yeah, he was on Prospero, as
Yep.
was Bjorn, but not as a Dreadnought at that time.
Look. He gets into it later.
Hey, we've got a super chat from Frederick Trader. The whelps of Russ have ever been but pretenders and hypocrites. Savages who boast about being executioners, yet too blind by their own arrogance to realize their failures. To the doldrums of D.
Damn.
Well, they just got right into the abyss by Frederick Trader. By the way, I love your avatar. Is that from the Venture Brothers by chance? Because that looks awesome. Super cool. And we got another one for Josina question. I know, Jagatai said, his voice a liquid slur. The terminus est. You gave up. I did not. My endurance is superior. Move the White Scars to S tier. Wow.
The Iron Warriors do have a shield, so it goes behind the Iron Warriors.
True, but damn, that's a good comment too. I like that.
That is a good one.
I like that.
I really thought you were going to go with the Fulgrim comment, where it's like, I heard you do weird things to this. I heard you do weird things to your people. to your kin.
So,
now,
go ahead.
We do have to continue talking about space. Well, sorry, you were just about to, and then I was going to say that, and now we're here.
I wanted to say, going back to the White Scars briefly, I did want to say that they do get overlooked a lot, and it is kind of nice to see people showing their love for them because they are cool. They deserve better than they've gotten, and I would like to see. When it comes to the White Scars, they're basically for me just kind of the same between pre-heresy and post-heresy. Like I don't really like any one version more than the other. But if you put a gun to my head, I would pick the pre-heresy version, I guess. But it's nice to see people showing love for them.
I think I would pick the pre-heresy just because of those land speeders. If they got a type of land speeder that was similar to that, like how the Dark Angels got all their land speeders, I think more people would be playing White Scars.
Well, let me show you. I've got to show you this Praetor because it almost wins the drip on its own. It's that good.
All right.
So
let's see this Praetor drip.
Yeah.
This drippy Praetor.
Let me bring him up here. I will need you to take down the list for just a second to do this.
Alrighty.
And I need to embiggen it. Okay, so I can do share screen in window. There it is. Look at this dude.
Yeah, he is really cool.
Look at this dude. I mean, again, without anything else, this alone almost gives them a bump because they're just that cool looking.
Yeah.
I may be the only one. You tell me, Chad, if you think that's amazing, but I love it. That's one of my favorite Praetor models. Not
one, not two, 3 top knots.
That's right. Yes, he's got a triple top knot. He went all in on the top knots. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the Space Wolves because we do have to finish them up. In the Heresy era, they were their biggest thing that they did was actually go after and destroy. Well, for a certain value of destroy, they went after and attacked. Let's put it this way: Magnus the Red and the Thousand Sons on the world of Prospero.
Yeah.
This is an event called the Burning of Prospero. It is technically the first part of the Horus Heresy because it was engineered and put into place by Horus himself, and this is post Horus's corruption, so it is definitely part of the Heresy. And so this is kind of the intro to the Heresy is the Burning of Prospero, which at the time was the first well known, at least, but first known Astartes via Astartes conflict.
I mean, there was a Primarch versus Primarch fight prior to this, and that was when Lion killed somebody that Leman Russ was after, and Leman Russ attacked him, and Lion put him down.
Well, like I said, it's technically the first mass Astartes v
Yeah.
mass Astartes fight. Now, after the catastrophic burning of Prospero, this led to a lasting enmity amongst the legions, and the Space Wolves were never looked at the same afterwards. Throughout the rest of the wider conflict, they remained loyal. They fought as shock troops for the Imperium, and they embodied the role of the sanctioned but feared enforcers of Imperial will. But their so effectiveness in the Heresy, this is kind of like the White Scars. They did just the one big thing, but it was a really big thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say they had the big old psychic storm, but that was the White Scars, I think, that did the psychic storm on Terra.
There's a lot of things that I think caused that. So,
well, the one was trying to stop. I can't remember if that was a White Scar or a Space Wolf. I know they definitely weren't a psyker, though. They were not a psyker. They totally were. But
they totally were. They totally were. So the Space Wolves have some really, really kick-ass special units, though.
Bjorn not being playable, though, has always irked me.
So here's Rush 21129 says they were most effective pre-heresy. Where are my two legions, Russ? It is strongly implied that they wiped out the two missing legions. But the Space Wolves have the Gray Slayer packs, which are one of their special units. These guys aren't too special. They're just like a slightly better tactical squad. Yeah. But where they shine is in their special Terminators, the Varangier Wolf Guard. Holy shit. These guys are amazeballs. They are probably the best melee Terminators in the game. They're really, really, really good.
I don't know about that one.
Well, in second edition,
Circle Knight Cenobiums are pretty badass.
They're pretty badass, but in second edition, remember that the Varangier, because of the way the rules work, they couldn't get the extra movement, but so they got the extra weapon skill instead. So the Varangier were all weapon skill 5, which is pretty awesome. And they had the really special weapons and everything. The Varangier were strong. They were very, very strong. Then, of course, there's one of the best units in terms of looks, maybe not so much in terms of rules, but their own destroyer company, the Deathsworn pack.
Yep.
These guys were fucking awesome.
The Deathsworn were really cool. They had raccoon helmets.
Yes, cool. Rush, that is a Varangian Guard reference. Yes. The Varangian Guard, for anybody who doesn't know history, they are a very small part of history, so I'm not going to blame you if you didn't know about them. These were a group of Northmen, very likely Vikings, who traveled to the Byzantine Emperor's palace and became his bodyguards, his Huskarls, if you will, during the Byzantine Roman Empire.
Yep.
Wolfboy is asking how much to change a position again.
$10. $10 super chat, and you can do it. You can move one. Boop.
So yeah, if you without the super chat, that put them down into D, the dog tier. I like that. They got put into the dogs tier. Without that, I would say I would actually put them pretty firmly in A, under Dark Angels, but that's where I would put them. Where would you go?
I'd honestly go B, and I would go B below Emperor's Children. Like, to me, that while they did do some crazy shit, like, break Magnus's back after getting your heart ripped out, which a lot of people forget that part.
They have two. Space Marines have 2 hearts.
Yeah. Well, it was the Primarch that did it. It was Lehman Ross that broke his back, and he got one of his hearts ripped out, which is weird. I assume it grew back. He's a Primarch.
They get better.
Mean nothing.
They just get better.
He is also one of the few Space Marine legions that knew the effectiveness of the Sisters of Silence and kept them with him at a very long time, even after the burning of Prospero. Overall, though, Bjorn not being playable is what stopped me from actually playing them in 30K. The Varangar are cool, but I'd rather my Inner Circle Knight Cenobiums taking Reaper of the King and going, hey, you have a higher weapon skill? Cool, I hit you on 2s.
And the Tyrannic Greatswords are just so good.
Oh man, I rolled a 5 to wound. Yep, you're dead.
Yeah, tyrannic greatswords are like ludicrously good. Oh wait, got a super chat from Wolf Boy. For the sake of my Skyrim edition, place the wolves by their rivals. $10. Thank
All
you,
right.
Wolf Boy. Woo! Nice Skyrim. That's awesome. I think for that, I think we could put him above the Dark Angels personally.
Oh,
He paid the money
yeah,
for it.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
Skyrim. Now we need to hear the Dragonborn theme. It's intensifying. Dragon noises.
Wait, did we forget the thousand? No, Thousand Suns are there. Okay.
Let's all make dragon noises. Skyrim.
Okay. Do you want to hear something crazy? I have never played Skyrim.
Wow. It's
Never
playable
played.
on refrigerators.
Yes, I am aware. I have just never sat down and played it because I've never had I never got it on my computer. And then on all of my consoles, I just never played it. My brother played it, and I was just like, yeah, it's good.
Listen,
I was more into Fallout than anything else.
Well, Fallout is awesome, but you have not yet lived until you have unleashed your dragon shout on a chicken in a random village and see what happens. Because the chickens are considered part of the village, and that means everyone attacks you. Everyone. They're like, you did what to our chicken? Kill him! Like everyone attacks. You're like sitting there, wait, guys, I was just testing out my power.
Yeah.
No, Skyrim is great. I've played it several times. Every time, I swear, I go into Skyrim and I think, today is the day I will not play a stealth archer. And then 10 hours later, I'm sneaking around with a bow and arrow. That's just how it is for Skyrim.
That's like me going into Cyberpunk. I'm not going to play a hacker. Dang it.
Yeah, right?
Got me again. All right, so
obligatory Skyrim noises have been made. Now we can talk about
fists.
The fists. These are the poster boys of the Heresy miniature game. They are on all the covers of all the things. And there's a good reason for that. Why is that? Why are they on the covers of all the things? They're really, really cool, and they're very, very effective. And they're considered actually, at least in second edition Heresy, they were the strongest, like mechanically, by far.
Second edition. Oh, that was Dark Angels.
No, it was the fists, because they could get 3-up invulnerable saves on all their Terminators. They could do strength 10 hits. They had +1 to hit with like almost every single weapon that they could bring to the table. They had the best console, which was the Castellan.
But were any of their units ever banned?
They were so good they didn't need dreadnoughts.
I don't know. I tabled them in one turn in a tournament.
Okay, well, I'm just saying. I think mechanically they were one of the strongest. They also had the best special character in Sigismund, by the way.
Sigismund is really cool.
He was ludicrously strong.
But do you want to know what my list was? It was 2,500 points. It was all drop pods, and it was all interrupters.
Yeah, well, that'll do it.
It was 90 interrupters, and I said, hey, do you guys want to ban this unit yet? And I won all 3 of my Heresy games in 10 minutes.
Predator Trader coming in with a super chat. He says, by the red will of Magnus, the Space Wolves will be cast back down to D tier. Wow. Love it. Sevatar is better. He definitely won that duel, and he's very, very good. Sevatar is definitely one of the top tier duelists. Come back. We will do a first captain's tier list, and we will decide who's better, Sevatar or Sigismund.
I still loved what Abaddon said when he saw Sigismund during the Heresy, not post-Heresy, not the post-Heresy fight that was written before this, which is dumb, but during the Siege of Terra, there's a moment where Abaddon questions whether or not he could defeat Sigismund, and he goes, probably in a 1v1 I could do it. But then he sees Dorn, and he's like, all right, I know when I'm beat. And he teleports away. Oh, and I don't think this is about. I don't think Rush is talking about me cheating during the Heresy event.
No, he's
but
talking about Sevatar. Sevatar cheated
Yeah.
to win the battle.
Oh yeah, Sevatar always cheats. That's what Sevatar does. That's what the Night Lords do. Their whole tactic is cheating.
All right, so let's talk about the fists because we have to talk about the fists.
The fists are, in fact, the dumbest of the Space Marine chapters and big stupid, but have the coolest Primarch. And their Primarch is so goddamn cool that he carries the entire weight of the Imperial Fist on his back. He is hands down, Imperial Fist down, one of the best fighters. And I will fight anybody and say that he is probably the second or third best melee fighter out of all the Primarchs.
Dorn's very strong. There's no question about it.
Dorn killed Primarchs.
Yeah, well, Fulgrim actually killed one and TKO'd another, so Fulgrim's still top tier as far as Fulgrim.
That's cool, but Rogel Dorn killed Alfarius and killed the mortal form of Fulgrim, and then beat Fulgrim so badly after finding out he was immortal, and just kept beating the hell out of him so badly that Fulgrim bitched out and quit the Heresy.
Running away does not mean he killed the Primarch, though. And did he kill Alfarius or did he kill Omegon? That is the question.
He did kill Alfarius. The Legion felt the
psychic backlash. Are we sure though?
Yeah, it was confirmed by the writer.
With the Alpha Legion, you can never be certain about those kinds of things.
Yeah, that one was unfortunately confirmed by the writer.
Sebastian Muller says, "Get the S-Wolves back to S tier. Give them a shield, and while you're at it, put the Imperial Fist to S tier." Wow, Sebastian Muller, he's got opinions, and he wants us to know what they are.
So that is just 66, right?
That is 66. Yes.
All right, that can only move one because that is a $10 USD.
Okay, so it sounds like he wants the Space Wolves first. I think.
Yes.
So he wants to put them back up to S.
All right, and this will get rid of the Iron Warrior's shield.
Well,
because the shield was hit by the White Scars.
Oh, was it? Okay, all right, fair enough. Okay, I'll trust you on that one.
Yeah, I had to look up Danish kroner versus USD, and USD is dropping like a rock.
Thank you, Sebastian Muller. I thank you. I like Space Wolves a lot. And Imperial Fists. These were the master defenders during the Great Crusade. They were commanded by Rogel Dorn, the Primarch. They specialized in fortification and stubborn infantry warfare, and they were disciplined, stoic Space Marines until they just lost control, and then they'd go crazy. The Imperial Fists were described to me by Games Workshop themselves last January. They described them to me as guys who just keep it all inside, and they keep it all tight, and their faces are just like, they don't show you any emotion until it boils over, and then they have to show you. And the example they use is Fafnir Ran, who is, by the way, one of their special characters and a really awesome dude who probably should have been born a Space Wolf but wasn't.
Yeah, dual wielding axes, has a storm shield on his back.
He's the one who founded the Executioner's chapter after the Heresy.
Yeah,
which is of course famous for their big ass axes. Fafnir Ran is a great character. They have Alexis Pollux.
Alexis Pollux is awesome.
Lord Castellan Evander Garius, the Tyrant of Cathonia.
Yeah,
super cool. And Sigismund, the first captain, which, my God, that dude, we're going to do a whole episode on him because he's just that amazing.
Sigismund is that guy.
He is absolutely that guy.
Where, like, the first captain of the Dark Angels thinks he's that guy, he moves aside for Sigismund.
Sigismund, in my opinion, and we have not done a tier list of first captains, but we will. In my opinion, Sigismund is the single greatest duelist of all the first captains. And in my opinion, he could probably outfight, rules-wise, he could probably outfight both Lorgar and Constantine Valdor.
That's a good fight.
Constantine
Valdor, probably. Who was the first one?
Lorgar.
That's easy. That's easy.
Sigismund can beat a Primarch in hand-to-hand combat, which is extremely rare.
I forget which Heresy Heresy Dark Angel Primarch has it. It's not Corswain, but the
Has-
Sword of the Forest, which is
Oh,
probably the
no,
sickest
that is.
weapon. In
I think that is Corswain.
is that Corswain?
Corswain is the armor. Corswain is the armor of the forest, and the blade is what he has. Just a
hang on.
sword called the blade, and he has the armor of the forest.
But it is a sick weapon.
Anyway,
it's not Marduk.
No, it's not. But Marduk is cool.
Marduk is awesome.
I want to do a whole episode of Marduk. I don't know how we'll feel it. We'll have to talk about the Dreadwing an awful lot, but that's okay. The Dreadwing are really cool.
Corswain. Is his weapon the one that does it?
I don't know. I'm not sure what you're looking at.
No, he has the murderous strike weapon. He has the instant death weapon.
Yeah, Devin Urbina is pointing out that Sigismund did not survive to the 41st millennium. That's true. He didn't. But in 30K, I think he is the top tier duelist, personally. And Ricardo Andre says, could Sigismund beat a Primarch? He could give an incredibly good showing, but every Primarch would win in the end. I don't know. I think he could beat Lorgar.
Rules-wise, he can beat most of the Primarchs. Just putting that out there. He's not going to beat, like... we had him go toe-to-toe with Angron, and he beat Angron. But Angron kind of sucks, unfortunately. If Angron doesn't charge, Angron is terrible. If Angron charges, he's amazing.
And technically speaking, he should always be charging. So
yes, but I think he beats almost all of them except for the good melee Primarchs and Rogel Dorn, because Rogel Dorn can only be wounded on 4s.
All right, well, let's talk about the Imperial Fists' efficiency in the Heresy. Their presence... Okay, here we go. Another one. Friend or traitor, you're doing it again. Siege is pleased by the rampant change of the stream. The irony that the Loci is the barbaric denizens of Fenris is not lost on the architect of fate. Back to the storms of their dog's tear. Oh, I love it. Oh, that's so good. Oh my God. Friend or traitor, I like the way you roll, sir. I like the cut of your jib. That is very well done. That is very well done.
How am I not finding this captain? I think I clicked on all the captains but the correct one.
All right, so the Imperial Fifth specialty is holding and building bastions. They excel at ranged and close quarters fighting, but they are frequently trusted with the security of the most vital Imperial assets, including the Imperial Palace on Terra itself. During the Heresy, they became the core of the Imperial Palace's garrison during the Siege of Terra. They orchestrated the construction and defense of the Imperial fortifications against Horus's forces. Their unyielding and sacrificial defense of basically earned them a reputation as the Emperor's shield. In fact, they were called the Praetorian. Dorn was called the Praetorian of Terra. They emerged from the Heresy as one of the principal loyalist legions that survived, to be later broken into chapters, and then, of course, they're mostly wiped out by the Beast when the Beast arises. Drosina question: Helldrake flies by. Is there nothing in this millennium which is not worse than the one I left? Lionel Johnson to S tier. Woo!
Okay.
Love it.
Come on, move here. Oh, also, for people saying he had a tier, I did the translation for Danish kroner to USD, and it only showed 10 for 50 Danish kroner. Or sorry, 66 Danish kroner is only 10 USD. So I have to go with the rules that we have. It's $10 for a shield, $10 to move. There we go. Sorry, I'm trying to do as much as I can in the background.
So the fists have both the most important role in the Heresy, and they also do hardly anything else, which is a shame. Efficiency in the Heresy wise, I think they're probably solidly B or A. In terms of, go ahead.
I don't know. They held the line.
They did. They were crucial. They were crucial to the defense of Terra. But that's the only part of the Heresy they really play a big role.
Yeah, but that's arguably the biggest part of
it. It is. I mean, that's kind of what we had to come down to with the White Scars, right? It's the same thing. It's like, I mean, they didn't do much else, but they were there at the big when it mattered. So yeah, their efficiency in the Heresy is high, but not super high. Let's put it that way. Not as high as some of the other members on this list. Now,
Also, he was one of the few Primarchs that didn't really break the what is it? The Terminus Decree? Not Terminus. The anti-librarian one.
oh, the Edict of Nicaea.
Yeah, the Edict of Nicaea. Rogel Doran is one of the few Primarchs that all the way up until the very end didn't break it.
But he did break it.
He did only after Nathaniel Gyro told him that he was on, by orders of Malkador, to take a Psyker.
Well, yeah, but again, I mean, this is always the thing with the Edict of Nicaea. It's always that one rule that they all just decided to say, nah.
Yeah.
Now
mean, in all fairness, GW wanted to sell Psykers to everyone.
True. So let's get to a more subjective question. Their style.
It's boring.
Okay. I hear you, but I'm going to disagree.
It's just yellow.
Can you drop the?
They got like some cool Praetors.
This is Lord Castellan Evander Garius, the Tyrant of Chthonia. Look at this dude.
While yes, he is really cool. I mean,
Okay. But I also have for your presentation, madam.
All right.
I also have this guy.
Okay.
Fafnir Ran. Look at this absolute Chad. You
mean the guy that's bought to make a Space Wolf Praetor?
Just look at his shield. No, this is not a Praetor. He is not there are dudes you choose to make Praetors, but look at his shield, look at his axes, look at the symbol above his head. Like, this dude is style. Fafnir Ran is styling, in my opinion.
He is pretty heckinito burrito. I've seen some lovely conversions of this model. I have yet, in all of my time playing Heresy, ever see him on the tabletop.
Okay, all right. Well, I have another one I'm going to look up here for just a second, but tell me about why you don't think their style works.
Okay, so their basic infantry is just kind of meh. It blends too much in the background for me. They're only really cool when they're paired up against something. Like, I would say, like, if we had the Sons of Horus alongside them, because their colors work really well together, then it looks cool. But if you put them up against, like, the Blood Angels, it looks silly.
All right. Well, I have one more final option to show you. Here's what I think makes the Imperial Fist look really awesome. Look at this Kratos. Look at it.
That Kratos do be nice.
I love this color scheme. I love it to death. I think this looks awesome. All right.
They do look nice.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Go ahead and put your list back up there, and we can talk about it. So we have a disagreement on their style. I think their style, I would put their style in A. Where would you put their style?
Bottom of B.
Interesting. Well, we're not that far apart then. We're not that far apart.
They're just very basic.
Fair enough. Let's talk about some of their special units. They have the Phalanx Warders, the best infantry in all of 2nd edition. The Phalanx Warders were line units, so they could hold objectives. The Phalanx Warders had power axes and boarding shields. They had, if you put Fafnir Ran with them, they got to strike first and all this other crazy shit that they could do. Because they were Imperial Fist, their bolters, which they all had bolters, were hitting on 2s.
Yeah.
Phalanx Warders were insanely good.
2nd edition rules, you couldn't shoot your bolter and assault in the same turn, so the bolter never got fired.
Well, the Phalanx Warders wanted you to charge them.
Yeah.
Because they got bonuses that way.
Yeah, they were pretty good. They're actually a solid unit.
Under Stone Gauntlet, these guys were the top best infantry. There's also the Castellan, which is again the best console that you could get. There's the Templar Brethren. These guys were very good elite assault infantry. They used swords and power swords and storm shields. They were, of course, the predecessors of the Black Templars. And if you fielded 3 Land Raiders full of these guys, you would generally sweep the table with them. Led by Sigismund, they were insane. They were really, really good. I'm saying their special units were very strong. Were they cool looking? I don't like the way the Templars look that much, but I do like the Phalanx sweaters. I think they looked fine. All in all, I would say, like, for me, Imperial Fists are easy A.
I think they just blend too much in the background for me. I fought Imperial Fist. My friend Yon plays Imperial Fist all the time. I have never really lost a game against Imperial Fist. He's brought 60 of the like melee dudes. I just kind of sweep them with assault and just assault marines, because Deathwing hits them on 3s where they hit me on 4s. Yeah, I like them, but like,
Ice Veins coming in with a steel chair. Conrad Kurz had a vision of the Night Lords to the top of S tier with a shield. I think is 20 Canadian, $20 American, pretty close.
I think it's actually over the US currently. I think it's fine enough. Let me double check.
So that's Night Lords to S tier with a shield. Well, Devin Urbina is like surprised that I said A. I think it's because they didn't do much outside of the Siege of Terra. Their efficiency in the Heresy is not as high as I would have liked. Their style is high, but it's not as high as, say, like the Dark Angels, in my opinion. And their special units are really good, but are they as good as some of the other special units we talked about? I consider them high, but not top, which is why I was saying A. Did you drop your crown, King? What? Got a savage today. Savage.
I say A strictly because of their defense of the Imperial Palace.
All right, fair enough. Night Lords need to go to S though.
We'll get to them once we talk about them.
Which is now.
Which is right now, after these messages.
After these messages. Oh my god. That's hilarious. This has been a surprise so far, I think. Pretty interesting to me.
Yes.
The 8th Legion to Night Lords. Ricardo Andre, one of our chat guys, is a huge Night Lords fan, and I do understand because they are cool. Aaron Dibski-Bowden famously made them super cool. Sevatar is...
They were so lame before he got his hands on them. I remember the transition of everybody being like, these bats are stupid. They have dumb lightning bolts on it. To the next day being like, actually, they're pretty cool. Oh, also the Canadian dollar for 10 is $7 US. So
they don't have a shield. Is what you're
saying. They almost have a shield,
but not quite.
Yeah, because we're arguing this.
Well, you're the arbiter. It's up to you. You are the Adeptus Arbites. You are the Lex Imperialis. What do you say? Do they have a shield or no?
I'm going to say yes, because I did not specify that the $10 donation has to be made in USD, like your currency, but it has to transfer to USD as $10. So right now, yes, because I didn't specify that. Holy guacamole.
Oh, Nestor Vitobro coming in with another steel chair. If at any point during the stream, the Imperial Fists break through the Iron Warriors' defenses and surpass them, they must immediately be transported to the lowest tiers. They will have fallen into my Eternal Fortress 2.0.
You know what? We can do that.
Nestor Vitobro is an Iron Warrior fanatic. I love it.
But the Iron Warriors are so much cooler.
Well, the Iron Warriors do have. I want to talk about them so much. I want to talk about Perturabo. I want to talk about the Dominators. I want to talk about all their crazy stuff they did during the Heresy. I think it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be super fun. Resh says, note to self: open bank account in Turkey and juice the streams. All right, so the Night Lords, the 8th Legion, led by the Primarch Conrad Kurz, also called the Night Haunter. And they... Go ahead.
I will say that they belong next to the Dark Angels.
Well,
now, I don't believe that Dark Angels and Night Lords should be an S tier, mind you, because all they did was fight each other.
fair enough. The Night Lords, they spent their Great Crusade primarily enforcing compliance through terror, public execution, psychological warfare, flaying people alive and hanging them for lampposts was kind of their thing.
Dropping entire bodies, like hundreds of bodies from starships.
They were often unleashed on recalcitrant worlds that were like, we don't really know if we want to join the Imperium. And I would show up like, you'd better, or else. And here's some examples. And we will keep doing this until you join. And they were like, okay, you know what? Yeah, you guys are crazy. We're joining the Imperium.
Mm-hmm.
Their specific use was to cow populations into submission through brutality and fear.
Which is fucking awesome, mind you.
I mean, it can be. Ricardo Andre, it's raining men. Hallelujah.
It's raining men and let the bodies hit the floor are the same song with two different perspectives.
That's hilarious. Oh, hey, another old super chat from Rice Veins. Blame my weak maple syrup currency. Here's a pillow cushion for the Night Lord.
All right, now they definitely have a shield.
Thank you, Ice Veins. Well, they had one before. You said it. So
yes,
now
they have two shields.
They now have two shields.
Okay.
The Night Lords.
We got this down.
But by the time the heresy broke out, the Night Lords were already morally rotten. And I can already hear Ricardo Andre like, ooh.
Nah.
The High Lords of Terra had already deemed them traitor before the heresy even broke out, which I thought was hilarious. Kurz famously had a hatred of imperial hypocrisy. And, let's be honest, he's not wrong. If you look at the Imperium and don't see hypocrisy, there's something really, really off about your perceptions. But this view of the Imperium's hypocrisy and his ability to see the future, it created this madness within him, and it led him into the arms of Horus. I don't mean literally; they weren't like lovers or anything, but
yeah, they were hugging each other. It's a bromance.
I mean, again, but once they were part of Horus's camp, the Night Lords became even more infamous. They avoided any kind of set piece battle that they could. Instead waged roaming terror campaigns against loyalists, against shipping, supply lines, any worlds behind the front line, things like that. They acted a lot more like marauding raiders than disciplined troops.
And then the Dark Angels beat the piss out of them. And then the Dark Angels beat the piss out of them. And then the Dark Angels beat the piss out of them.
Ricardo Andre says, if the Night Lords never betrayed the Imperium betrayed them first. How can you betray something if you were betrayed first? That feels like a distinction without a difference to me, but the Night Lords, in terms of efficacy or efficiency in the Heresy, I'm struggling to think of any major events they were part of, unfortunately.
They got the mountains of Macragge blown up because Kurz was there. That's definitely like up there.
Well, they were definitely in Isstvan 5. They did participate in the Dropsite Massacre, famously. So they did. So that is a major event. So that's at least one.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing I could think of, though. What else am I missing?
Kept the Dark Angels busy by putting hundreds of their bodies in the way.
Well, he destroyed his own home planet. By the time the heresy kicked off, he'd already destroyed his own planet. There's the Thramus Crusade. I see you, Ricardo Andre. Thramus Crusade, yes, and it's a prolonged war against the Dark Angels. It caused heavy attrition on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
The Night Lords were part of Isstvan 5, like I said. They were a big part of that, actually. And they spent the rest of the heresy kind of just behind their lines as raiders. They were not at the Siege of Terra. And let me rephrase. The Legion was not present at the Siege of Terra in force.
Yeah, there we go.
there were elements of them at the Siege of Terra, which Ricardo was pointing out. They were the first over the walls. You're right, but they were not as a. They were groups of warbands, as he says. Yeah, but as a legion, they just didn't have a major impact on a lot of things after Isstvan 5. So I would argue that the efficacy of their actions during the Heresy is kind of low compared to some of the other groups we've talked about.
But what about their style? What about their characters?
Let's talk about their style. Sevatar. Sevatar is one of the coolest characters in all of the Heresy. Sevatar is their first captain. He's the guy who coined the phrase "Death to the False Emperor."
Yep, which is still used today.
Yes, well, it's used by all the. His quote became a rallying cry for all of the Chaos Space Marines, basically.
Yep. All like warp talons and the like are derived from Night Lords, typically, or at least painted like Night Lords in a traditional like Chaos Warband.
Yeah, you're talking about the Raptors, right?
Yeah,
they're
Raptors and warp talons.
One of their special units was called the Night Raptors, and these became the Raptors of the Chaos Space Marines. Okay, so
they also have that squad that specializes in using just Volkite weapons. What is it called? Terror squads. Terror squads are awesome.
That is one of their
cool.
One of their best units of the Terror squads. No question about that. They have they unfortunately have one of the worst rules for First Company, though. Their Contakar and Atramentar Terminators are both not good.
Contakar are a bit better than people think they are because they can fire their weapons in charge. They deal a shit ton of damage, but it's a Volkite weapon, which is a waste of time gun.
Ricardo Andre is pointing out that Volkite was produced natively on Nostromo. Fun fact.
Yeah, it is. Good old laser beam weapons that
heat
pulse
rays.
Sometimes.
They were heat rays.
Yeah. They're really cool. I fight Night Lords like constantly, which is really funny because I typically play Dark Angels, which Dark Angels Legion trait just completely ignores the Night Lord's ability to give you -2 to your leadership, which then you stack with the Terror Squads, which also give you another -1, and then you drop in the Contakar and deal 25% casualties and have everything flee off the board, which is super fun to do to like non-Dark Angel players. Dark Angel players just sit there going like this. Oh, that's cute. We just take it out of our normal leadership.
Well, yeah, if you have, was it Master of the Keys or Master of the Crown? I forget.
One of them. But the Dark Angel Legion trait, depending on which trait you take, can just give your whole army just immune to psychology.
Right.
It's not called immune to psychology. That's just what I know it as.
I thought that was something that you picked for your... Anyway, it doesn't matter.
It's when you take Terminators. It's the one that works on all of them.
Well, Iceman's is asking, do the White Scars have a shield? I don't know. You're keeping track of this, I presume.
Don't believe so.
Okay, we need a decision. Yes or no? Do they have a shield?
If they do, somebody please correct me. But I don't believe they do.
All right, so the answer is no. They do not have a shield for Ice Veins.
Yeah.
All right, style-wise for the Night Lords, where are we at?
They're fucking awesome. I love the fact that they are Punisher Batman in 40K with silly bat wings on their head and lightning bolts all over them. They look incredibly silly in the best 40K way possible.
I'm going to disagree. And Ricardo Andres probably get all over me for this, but aesthetically they are not pleasing to me. I do not like the way that they have, like, you know, bodies and skulls and stuff all over their body, all over their armor. I don't like the bat wings on the helmets. I don't like the Ave Dominus Nox is a very cool thing to say. I like that, and I like that they have it on some of their armor, but they also have it next to all these, like, you know, flayed skulls and things like that. And just like they wear their villainy on their chest, if you will. So
see, Ross just doesn't like a chapter that has a hobby.
I don't like the way they look. I think the coolest looking dudes in their whole roster are Kurz and Sevatar.
I gotta show you some really cool pictures of my buddies, Night Lords. They are sick as hell. He's got like dead bodies hanging from them, just flayed alive. They look so good.
I'm sure. I gotta say, I don't like it. I think they are kind of the silliest looking of all
Oh,
the legions.
somebody is asking how you beat a shield. It's one donation gets you to match their shield, and then they don't have it anymore. The next donation gets rid of theirs. Like you just move them however you feel.
Ice Veins, get those white scars out of S tier down to dog tier.
You know what? Let's do this.
The white scars have tumbled from their heights. We have 2 loyalists in the bottom tier.
This makes sense. Don't think about it.
So yeah, I think so. Style wise, they're not great for me. Special units, though. We talked about
I really like the Countercar. I like that they're Count Draculas. That's funny to me. I like the heavy Volkite weapons that they carry and the claws. I think they're pretty badass. I really like the chain bayonet things that they have. The pole chain weapons are pretty neat. Uh, I I love their jump pack units that all have power weapons. They're super cool. I like the terror squads. I think they're really nice. Um, yeah, I think they're really cool.
All right. Well, where would you put the Night Lords? We know where they are, but where would you put them if you were to put them somewhere?
I'd put them top of B.
I would say C, because of style and relevance, most of all. But that's fair. I think bottom of B, top of C is not a terrible place for them.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now we get to, hey, look at my T-shirt. One of my favorite chapters, the Blood Angels.
The Bangles.
Wow.
You got the dangles and the bangles.
Oh my God, the bangles. Oh, that's just ridiculous. All right,
the Blood Angels suffer so much in all of the Heresy editions. They've never been good, and it sucks so much.
Rules-wise, they are not amazing. Their Terminators are actually some of the worst Terminators in the game.
It sucks because they have +1 to wound, and that sounds amazing, but they never hit.
Day of Revelation, though, is a really good Rite of War, though. Day of Revelation is actually really good. So the Blood Angels were the 9th Legion. They were led by the Primarch Sanguinius, beloved by all.
Yeah.
They earned renown in the Great Crusade for devastating aerial and assault infantry tactics, combining jump pack shock troops with noble, almost angelic imagery. They even had a jump pack dreadnought.
Yep.
Which is kind of fun fact. But beneath their idealism, they struggled with a genetic flaw that manifested as rage and bloodlust, already present in the era. You know, a lot of people have this issue, but it was tightly controlled by their discipline and by Sanguinius's personal influence. He was beloved by his legion, and not only was just because he was a Primarch stabilized them, the fact that they loved him so much helped. Their bond with their Primarch helped really tamp down on the genetic flaw that they had. It was hardly even well known. Very few people even knew about it during the Crusade because of this. Benjamin's got a super chat. Fenris Hilda for $20. What does this mean? I don't know, Benjamin. I'm not sure what it means.
I'm assuming it has to do with Space Wolves.
Oh, it's definitely a Space Wolf phrase. I believe he's saying he wants the Space Wolves to S tier. I'm not sure.
All right, so that's going to crack the Iron Warrior's shield.
Fair enough.
But they're going to stay there for now.
As long as it's not the Imperial Fists. Yeah, he said that.
Space Wolves S.
Yep, Space Wolves S. I was right. I was right. Look at that. I interpreted Fenrisian. Look at me.
So right now, the Night Lords have a shield. I believe they have just the one, right? Or do they have 2?
Just the one.
Okay, Dark Angels have a shield, and Iron Warriors don't anymore.
Right, but they'd still have the trigger of the Imperial Fists.
Yes, if the Imperial Fists go up there, they go down. We're going to remember this, I promise.
We're definitely not going to forget.
Yep.
During the Horus Heresy, the Blood Angels were definitely loyal to the Emperor. They fought at Cygnus Prime against the first mass confrontation with demons of the Imperium's existence.
Mm-hmm.
They fought at the defense of Terra. They played a critical role, both in the defense of the palace and in the confrontation with Horus on board the Vengeful Spirit, because Sanguinius's presence impacted that outcome. Sanguinius' death in that final confrontation did mark the Legion deeply. It created a mass change in the Legion afterwards, and the trauma of the Heresy has lasted another 10,000 years into the current day from this moment. So impactful in the Heresy, I would say they're very impactful.
Yes.
Very impactful. There's probably only one Legion who's more, there's probably only two Legions more impactful than them.
Also, they were one of the only Legions to make it through the warp storms. Like, to make it to Terra and actually participate. I absolutely love the Blood Angels. They have some of the coolest looking units, too. Like, the Angel Tears look incredible. Their unique Terminators with sword and board look crazy cool.
The Angel's Tears they're very cool. I like them a lot. The Dawnbreakers are pretty cool. Their Contemptor is really cool. The Crimson Paladins, you want them to be awesome, but they're just not.
No, they are not good, but they're cool looking.
They are cool looking. Have you seen Aster Crone?
Yes.
The Shroud Maker. Aster Crone alone is worthy of some style points. And then of course there's primary. There's Sanguinius, but if I may, I think I would like to show off Aster Crone.
Yes, go right ahead.
Because he's rad, and it will give everybody an idea of like why we say they have a lot of drip and a lot of style. There's Aster Crone. Look at that dude.
Yeah, he looks incredible.
Look at that dude. Holy shit. Look at his backpack. Good God. I mean, wow.
Yeah, he's incredible.
That is some style. I would love to paint this model, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah. I've never had to paint this model yet, and I really want to.
Style-wise, they're pretty great.
Yes. Unique characters. Like, who's their characters?
Well, like Aster Crone is one of the guys we just showed. There's also Raldoron, who is one of the best duelists in the first captain's list, and Dominion Zephon, who's their head of their destroyers. And Zephon is a badass. He did a lot of really cool stuff during Heresy. Those are the ones that stick out to me, other than Sanguinius, of course.
Now, never mind. We got Friend or Traitor.
Friend or Traitor. Oh, he's got a new avatar. Look at that. The frigid shield of misbegotten Federus makes a poor defense against the infernal conflagration of change. Let the Space Wolves cast their bones and find that they are doomed to be dogs.
Okay.
Oh my God, it's $20. This is $20, so they get a shield, I think, at that level, right?
Yes, I don't think the dogs had a shield. No, they did. This is overriding their shield.
This is overriding the shield. Right. There's wow.
The Space Wolves are going from top to bottom to top to bottom.
Nice. They're pinging around, man. I love it. Friend or Traitor, really appreciate you guys. Blood Angel special units, this is where they just collapse, I think, unfortunately.
Yeah, their army rule kind of sucked in 2nd edition. 3rd edition, it's better, but not great. Overall, I really love the way they look, but they play
god-awful.
Kind of meh.
I will be honest, the Crimson Paladins, in my opinion, are the absolute worst named Terminators.
Let me see if I agree with that. Hang on. Yes.
Unfortunately, they are really bad. They're worse than the Red Butchers, in my opinion, and the Red Butchers are not good. So yeah, wow. All right. Wolf Boy says, Space Wolves versus Dark Angels. Who would likely ally with the Dino Elves? Well, it wouldn't be the Dark Angels.
No, the Dark Angels would just kill everything. Space Wolves, maybe.
They're more likely to. Does that mean it doesn't mean it is actually likely. It just means that they're more likely than the Dark Angels.
Yeah.
But thank you for the super chat, and a good question. That is one I had not thought of before. Logan Grimnar would be more likely than Layman Russ. Because Grimnar, I think, has a different perspective.
Do you mean Azrael?
Okay, let me rephrase. I don't think there is a version of the Dark Angels, period, that would ally with Exodites. With the Space Wolves, you got Layman Russ, or you got the 30K or 40K, right? And I think Grimnar is the most likely version of the Space Wolf commander to say, yes, I'll hang out with some Exodites and do stuff.
I mean, if they're not causing him any trouble and fighting an enemy that he's already engaged with, I could see him just being like, enemy of my enemy will die second. Where the Dark Angels would just be like, okay, fire in that general direction, kill everything.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is I think the Dark Angels are more xenophobic, in general. All right, so we have the Crimson Paladins, the Dawnbreaker cohorts, and the Angels tiers. The Angels tiers are the coolest of those three, but even they are not that great.
Now, I have a controversial take for you.
Okay.
Blood Angels to be.
Yeah, below. I would put them below Emperor's Children.
Oh. Like, my biggest takeaway from reading all the Blood Angels lore in 40K, or in the Heresy, is that they did all of this cool stuff. Okay, do I get to read about it? What? No, they did it. Oh, okay, cool, I guess. I would like to read the fight versus Kabanda. Yeah, here's a paragraph about it. Okay, we're done.
Well, they also fought in Cygnus Prime, which was a big deal. So I almost would say C, except for all the stuff that Sanguinius does.
Yes, it's basically Sanguinius does everything.
How many shields do Dark Angels have is the question.
Dark Angels currently have one. And
they have a shield.
Have one.
Night Lords and Dark Angels both have a shield. Okay.
Yes.
Now it's time to talk about the Iron Hands. Oh my god. All right.
Do we just put them at the bottom? They're completely irrelevant.
Well, let's talk about them and then we'll move them around.
Okay.
So the Iron Hands were commanded by Ferrus Manus, whose name means Iron Hands. Their focus in the Great Crusade was mostly on technological mastery, bionics, and uncompromising discipline. They believed, well, they came to believe that flesh was weakness and machine-enhanced warriors were superior. They excelled in heavily armored assaults, mechanized warfare, and the ruthless pursuit of efficiency and resilience on the battlefield. They had a certain cold fury to their attacks. They were not berserkers, but they were absolutely ruthless. The Iron Hands, they remain loyal during the Heresy, but they suffer a major crippling blow when Ferrus Manus is killed at the Drop Site Massacre. And the loss of their Primarch, the betrayal of their allies, it drives them into a form of madness. Basically, when the Iron Hands are shattered on Isstvan 5, they go crazy. And for a while, they just became these grim-faced fanatics. They just doubled their hatred and weakness and decided that, if Ferrus Manus died, that must mean that there's some deep flaw within us. We're not nearly as good as we thought we were, so we have to cut out even more of our flesh. This led to some very brutal campaigns against traitor forces for the remainder of the conflict. And I would say, in terms of efficient, their effectiveness in the Heresy, it's very low. The only thing they really do during the Heresy is get fucking wiped out, almost wiped out.
Also, they make the Shattered Legions. That's pretty cool. That legion that no one plays, and the only people who play it are trying to break the rules.
Well, the Shattered Legions are kind of interesting. I will not deny the Shattered Legions are actually kind of interesting.
The lore, interesting. Yes, agreed. The actual play style and the people that play it, terrible.
Yeah, I agree.
And I'm simply talking about people who try to win at Heresy, which is not something you really should do. Heresy should be a
Heresy is mostly narrative. That's true.
Yeah.
Now, what about style for the Iron Hands?
What style? They look like Iron Warriors, but they look like the knockoff Iron Warriors.
I unfortunately agree with you. I can't even find a good model to show off as much as I'd like to.
Like, one of the things that I hate seeing in 40K forums is like, they give the Iron Hands no love. And it's like, duh. They should have just been dead. Like their Legion would have been much cooler if they were gone.
Wolfboy asks, if the World Tree turns out to be the Elf Maiden God, I don't. Is that a question? I'm not sure. I'm not sure I understand, Wolfboy. What are you saying here? Happy to address the super chat though, if you have more to add.
Their Resin Terminators were cool, and one of their coolest units was they had the Indomitable Terminator armor, which was the Terminator armor that became they had a prototype version of it, which was stronger. Then it became the Indomitable Terminator armor, which is the generic variant of knockoff parts that is used today.
The Indominus.
Indominus. Yeah, sorry. Not Indomitable. My apologies. That's the coolest thing that they have, I believe.
Well, they special units wise, they have the Medusa. They have the Medusan Immortals, which are their breachers, and cybernetics. Imagine breachers with cybernetically enhanced.
Okay.
Not really that special. Not really that cool. Then they have the Gorgon Terminators, and the Gorgons were unique sets of armor that were actually kind of built into your body. You couldn't take them off. And then there's the Morlocks, which were their special first company unit, which were also Terminators. The coolest thing, Iron Hands were surprisingly effective rules-wise. Like, they were actually a really good Legion to play.
Yes.
They were surprisingly good, but their style was not good, and their special units were kind of okay at best. Now, their war gear, like the special stuff you could pick up and augment their equipment with, that was all awesome. The Necrotechnica armatures, for example, was really, really good.
The thing that they suffered with most was they were made before the Mechanicus was made. And it's very clear that this army was supposed to be like more Mechanicus oriented than any other Legion. And they just didn't have that to work with at the time of creating them.
I'm gonna say D tier, and I would like to be generous. I would like to say they're a C, but I think they're D.
Space Wolves have a shield.
Do they just saying. Somebody says they have a new Praetor. Do they have a new Praetor?
They do, I believe. They have a
Praetor with a Spider Servitor. Is that 30K or is that 40K?
I don't even remember.
It's got to be 40K. I don't see it in the. I'm actually on the webpage for.
I know in 40K they have the guy with the Power Kanabo, which is pretty badass.
Let me just take a quick look here to make sure that I have.
Also in 40K they have one of the stronger armies because you bring Oops All Dreadnoughts.
Yeah, that if you're talking about the guy with the spider stuff, that's definitely 40K, not 30K. And they do have some really good looking 40K models. That's true, but not Heresy era. Iron Bland's more like.
True.
Nice.
We also have the.
Yep. Yeah. I meant to say, if the World Tree turns out to be the Elf Maiden God, I can see some sort of alliance with the Wolves. Yes. If that were to occur, if the World Tree that the Layman Russ is looking for is in fact Isha, then an alliance between Exodites and Space Wolves is far more likely. I agree. You are correct. We did an episode on the Exodites very recently. It's one of our, I think, better episodes, honestly. So check it out. Oh, okay, Nestor, if you could give me a link to that, because I'm on the page and I didn't see it. I'm willing to extend you the trust that you know what you're talking about. I just don't know.
Oh my God. Google automatically filled in, instead of Iron Hands, it put Iron Warriors when I
I mean, they are not popular for a lot of reasons.
Oh yeah, they got this guy. Okay, he's pretty cool.
I must be missing it. Oh wait. Now I see him. All right. And yeah, he was next to Shadrach Medusan. That's what was going on. Okay. I don't worry, I could bring up an image of this guy. Give me a second.
Yeah.
All right, so for style points, we do want to at least give everybody a look at what we're talking about here, because this is probably the coolest model they have. Actually, I'm not gonna lie, it is the coolest model they have.
Yeah, probably. I don't think they have any other cool
Here models. Here we go. That's the guy. That's the guy you're talking about, yes?
Yeah, that guy's badass.
Look at him. He is really good looking, I have to admit.
I bought this guy a while ago. I shaved off all the Iron Warrior stuff, and I use him as a Legion Councilaris
You just said Iron Warriors.
I knew I did. I fucking knew I was going to. But I gave him a staff, and I used him for the guy that controls my AdMech dudes. My
Unfortunately,
what the heck is it called? The guy that controls the Castellan robots. I can't remember the name. But
yeah,
anyway.
I'm sorry. I don't think that one model can save the Iron Warriors, though.
No.
So I'm gonna say they still belong in D tier.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Anybody disagree? You can change our minds with the $10 super chat, but that's it. That's what we got.
Now,
all right.
Are you ready for a Legion that did something cool?
The World Eaters!
The Legion that fucked up the deployment of the heretics.
That's true. He was a major factor on Iston 3 as well as Iston 5 in screwing things up, but that's okay. The World Eaters, they were commanded by Angron, the Primarch of Rage. They were developed a culture of close quarters violence throughout the Great Crusade. They were called ravening madmen, in fact, heavily influenced by Angron's gladiatorial past and the implantation of a device called the Butcher's Nails into his brain. The Butcher's Nails were awful. They were this device that basically suppressed all emotion and pleasure in life. The only way you could feel anything was to kill, and it was meant to encourage gladiator battles on the world of Nuceria, but it eventually spread throughout the Legion and it turned them into frothing berserkers. Now, they were regularly used as shock troops in the harshest fighting. They were thrown into brutal planetary assault, and their ferocity was used to break enemy lines over and over again. But by the time of the Heresy, they were already very, very unstable, thanks to the Butcher's Nails. And their reliance on this and their bloodshed kind of led them towards, I would say, probably inevitably towards worship of Khorne. Actually, on Iston 5, they were building, by the time of Iston 5, they were already building piles of skulls. They were making proto-shrines by Iston 5. They did formally join Horus's rebellion, and their role became a berserk vanguard force, spearheading all the traitor assaults. And they traded control and subtlety for the raw power of apocalyptic slaughter. These guys were
monsters.
They were monsters, but they were also at almost every big fight, and they were very, very big parts of the Heresy.
Also, they have one thing that no other Legion has: a playable woman.
Yes, Latara Saren,
who has a monster of an effect. She fires the Ursus claws during gameplay. That is so cool. You just pick a point on the map and boom, hits the ground. God, I love her. Looked at Angron dead in the eye, sitting in her throne, and said, "Get up."
Yep.
Slapped him in the face once.
Latara Saren took no shits. She was awesome. I'm still sad about her final fate. It's very tragic. But it makes a lot of sense.
I wouldn't be surprised if she can still somehow manifest on board the vessel.
Oh, I'm sure on board the vessel, but outside of it now. Which is a shame, because I would love to have seen her do more.
Oh my god, could you imagine if they made her a demon prince?
Holy shit, right?
Right? That would be so cool. Latara Saren, hands down, is one of my favorite characters. Karn the Betrayer is also a very tragic character, and I absolutely love him. He got run over and killed by a rhino twice and lived. But he also has one of my least favorite moments in the entire Heresy, which is backhanding Janita Krall and killing her.
Right. That was weird and dumb.
Yes.
The World Eaters had two special units, the Rampager Squads, which were heavy assault units that reflected the Berserker style. They carried the gladiator weapons. And then there was the Red Butchers, which were their Terminator shock troops. These guys were also pure melee. They used two chain axes as their weapons, effectively power axes, and they were not good.
They were horrible on the tabletop. They were so bad.
Style-wise, I also kind of hate the look. I don't like the rabbit ears. I don't like it. I'm sorry.
Are you telling me you don't like Karn the Betrayer having Miku's hairstyle? Which, by the way, that's actually true. Karn's helmet actually has two almost neon pigtails, and it's really funny that he's just a big Miku fan.
So Karn does not have. He's got a helmet on in his model. So I don't know
I'm
what you're
talking this
about.
one. Hang on.
You're talking about the 40K version, not the 30K version.
Yeah. Look at this dude. Hang on, I gotta bring up.
I think their 30K models are ugly as sin. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, but if, okay, I can't grab the image right now, but because I have the list up and everything. But
well, we can 40K. We can take it down. We're making a point about style, so.
Okay, let me. All right, let me find this really quickly.
The Red Butchers look okay. The Rampagers are some of the worst. They're the old resin models. They look really bad. These special helmets with the weird rabbit ears, I don't like those at all. I think they're not great. The color scheme is fine, but I don't think Angron and Karn in their 30K incarnations are not good. No, those are just tassels.
Nope, he's just a giant Miku fan.
No.
I refuse to believe any other way. Look at this man. He comes blaring in with Miku playing.
All right. Well, so for me, I'm going to add your list back up.
Yeah. There we go.
For me, they're a solid C tier.
You know, in all of my time playing Heresy 2nd and 3rd edition, I have yet to ever lose a game or a challenge against Angron. In every game. Lion has killed him more times than almost any other Primarch aside from Kurz. I agree. Like, Latara is doing the heavy lifting of getting them to C.
Well, that and the fact that they're super relevant, in my opinion, gets them there. But their style, they lose points for style. They lose points for their special units.
What sucks is they have a special unit on jet bikes that never got a model.
Yeah, it's true. But I think everybody had one of those, didn't they?
For the most part, yes. They were in the card games and everything, and they're really, really cool looking because they had this super unique jet bike that was kind of like the Eldar jet bike, where it would just fly into people and ram into them and deal a shit ton of damage, and then they would get off and just start butchering everything.
Well, we're halfway through, and we've got an hour left, so we better hurry up. Ultramarines, the 13th Legion.
One of the weirdest things about the Ultramarines are the Ultramarines of 40K, like 100%. But the Dark Angels are the Ultramarines of 30K. They do everything.
Well, yeah. Well, the Ultramarines of 30K is also this is the most strictest hidebound version of the Ultramarines you'll ever see. The Ultramarines of 30K are very much bound and contained by the way that their Primarch likes to do war. These they do function well. There's a lot of interlocking parts that all support each other. It's not like it's a bad way, but they are the least flexible version of the Ultramarines you'll ever see.
And it's kind of a shame because they have some really, really cool looking units and everything, but their army is so difficult to run.
Yeah, the Leandros Legion. Thank you, Nestor Vatumbra. Yes, that's a good way to think of it.
Mm-hmm.
So they were led by Rabute Gilliman, was their Primarch. They were the largest and most systematically organized legion in the Great Crusade. They relied on an interlinked realm of compliant worlds known as Ultramar, and their campaigns emphasized combined arms tactics, logistics, and governance. They were the Imperium's most reliable general purpose force and administrators of vast territories because Gilliman and all of his guys were really good at logistics. They were super good at it.
It was a whole army of accountants.
During the Heresy, the Ultramarines were deliberately isolated by the plans of the traitors. They were struck. They were basically they got hammered at Calth by the word bearers.
Mm-hmm.
Suffered severe losses. Gilliman subsequently fought a very long, grinding war to contain the traitor elements around Ultramar. And his efforts to stabilize and restructure the Imperium during and after the conflict laid a lot of foundations for what would become the Imperium later on. And of course, he did write that book, the Codex Astartes, which laid out a lot of rules that changed everything about the Imperium's way of war after the Heresy. So they're not involved in a lot of big things, and yet they are involved in a lot of big things. It's just they're more or less they're not as involved as some of the other ones, but they're there.
Yeah, they are definitely there. They formed Imperial Secundus, and then that got taken away and got recently brought back up in Plague Wars, and then that's not going to go anywhere.
No.
Guilliman of 30K is just not as interesting as Guilliman of 40K, unfortunately. Guilliman of 40K questioning everything and understanding the need for certain, like understanding the need for rage and actually still getting mad at things is really, really cool, and I really like it. But the Ultramarines having like an inner rage is actually really cool in the 30K lore, and I do love that. I also love that they understand that some bits of humanity can't be saved. And that's one of the darker truths that they hide, is when they find a world that worshipped war, they simply erased it from records because they didn't want anyone else to know that you could worship war itself. I thought that was pretty cool.
So, unpopular opinion here. I think the Ultramarines of 40K are more interesting than the 30K Ultramarines.
Fully agree.
I don't like their looks. I don't like these.
Really like the look though of 30K.
No, I don't. I don't like it. I think that everything that 30K does with the Ultramarines in terms of models and appeal and style is done better in 40K.
Yeah.
Now,
I could agree with that.
They're special units though. The Invictaris Suzerains are
those guys are cool.
balls. They're so good, the Alpha Legion steals them at every opportunity.
Yes.
The Invictaris Suzerains are one of the best, if not the best, special unit in 30K. So I'm gonna say I hate their style, but I think their special units rock the freaking socks off of people.
Mm-hmm. They also have a really important librarian who goes with Nathaniel Garrow, which is pretty cool.
Oh yeah, you're thinking of Tybalt?
Yeah, I think that's the name.
No, it's not. It's something else. What is it? I could find it. Just give me a second.
Oh, Rush. I do agree with that. The 41st Millennium Ultras are way more interesting. Then it goes the 30K Ultras. Then it goes the 40K like Kirby era 40K. Yeah, I like that. Isn't it Varanus? I can't remember the librarian's name.
I'm trying to remember. I know I've got it here somewhere.
But yeah, I really like the Ultramarines in 30K. I like the I like how the Victor's Honor Guard are just the old
Invictaris Suzerains.
Yeah, that looks really cool. That's where their first company got all that look from. Yeah, I really,
Rubio,
really like
Tylos Rubio. That's his name.
Oh yeah, wait.
Tylos Rubio. That's the guy you're thinking of.
Yes.
He's a former Ultramarine. He's only cool when he's not in the Ultramarines. I will point that out. When he's a knight errant, he's cool. When he's with the Ultramarines, not so much.
Kulgar has his own Victor's Guard. Yes, he does.
The Honor Guard,
Weirdly enough, the Victor's Honor Guard are all named. Like they were all named characters originally. They all had names in like the old 3rd edition Ultramarine book. In fact, if you bought the command squad back then, and then you look at the current command squad, you're just the current Victor's Honor Guard squad. You're just like, those are those guys. Neat.
I built a lot of army lists for the Ultramarines in 30K because I wanted to play them. And I'll say this, I never chose a special character. Like none of the special characters stuck out to me as like, this is somebody I want to play with. So their special units, though, I included all of them because they're really, really good. There's also the Fomenteros who got nerfed, unfortunately. But the Invictaris Suzerains are so good that it just, why don't you take as many as possible, really?
Yep. They're just expensive to get.
Ultramarines, I think, are B tier or top of C.
I am going to put them at the top of C. I think that's where they belong.
They do have a little bit of an edge over the World Eaters, but their
They
style
also look slightly better than the World Eaters.
Okay, I'll grant you that. They do look
Yeah.
slightly better. That's fair. I think that's fair.
Now, we're
All
here
right.
for the Death Guard.
Oh boy, the 14th Legion. The Death Guard. What can I say about the Death Guard? They were led by Primarch Mortarion. They specialized in endurance and attrition and chemical warfare throughout the Great Crusade. They valued resilience and stoic perseverance over speed or ornamentation, and they excelled at grinding campaigns in toxic or hostile environments. They marched through conditions that would kill any other force, and they could break through foes with relentless pressure. They were a surprisingly strong legion as well in the tabletop, because you could move and fire all your heavy weapons.
Oh my god, you took 90 heavy weapons and you just walked around. They were so good. You took 30 multi-meltas and just walked around, and your opponent just went, well, that seems fair.
I mean, were they the best one in the Horus Heresy? No, but they were strong.
Oh my god, they were really good, though.
Death Guard were quite strong. They have some style. They are far more stylish, in my opinion, than the Ultramarines or the World Eaters.
Yeah, they have scythes. Scythes are cool.
Death Shroud Terminators, one of their special units, uses power scythes, and they look fucking awesome. There's a Cataphracti Praetor that I want to show off here as part of the style.
Yeah.
Let me just.
I would also say that while the Iron Warriors were the main thinkers behind the Heresy, without the Death Guard, they couldn't push through them.
Look at this dude. This is a guy I would be happy to field on the battle. This guy looks amazing. The battlefield. He looks really, really good. He does have a helmeted version as well, but he's got a cape. His axe looks rad. This is some style right here. So they've got more style than some of the ones on our list, and I would say they have almost as much style as Blood Angels. I'd probably say they're a solid B.
I have painted over 10,000 points of Death Guard at this point in my life. I keep painting them because they are one of the most popular legions for both Heresy and 40k. Most of the time, people get their Death Guard and paint them the Horus Heresy colors, which is super cool because I definitely love that. I have painted Defilers, I've painted Demon Princes, I've painted like demons and everything for that army. I absolutely love the Death Guard as an opponent because they are just horrific. They are just, you look at them and you're like, that's a bad guy. I love them for that. I also love how tragic they are, where Mortarion really should have just died for his legion, but couldn't bring himself to do it, and thus his entire legion got corrupted. And then because he's so petty, he can't blame anybody else. He can't blame himself for what he did, so he blames everybody else. He's, weirdly enough, almost not favored by Nurgle. And according to Scabatrax, Nurgle loves everyone, including Mortarion. Which is like, yeah, everyone, all of you guys are loved, even him.
There are special units where the Grave Warden Terminators, which used rad munitions and toxic weapons, and they had like little chemical clouds that followed them around. And then there were the Death Shroud, which were a bodyguard unit with the power scythes. These were both useful. They were fine. They weren't super standouts, but they were fine.
Now, what's really funny about the Death Guard is the Ultramarines' utter hatred for them, because the Ultramarine Primarch Guilliman tried to forbid the use of destroyer-class weaponry, and he himself did not use them as much as he could, but the Death Guard used them in droves. They had thousands of Marines with rad munition, grenades, chemical weapons, chemical flamers, alchem flamers, all sorts of shit. They didn't care.
They had a kind of a rivalry with the Salamanders during the Great Crusade because both the Death Guard and the Salamanders would be deployed to cleanse a world of all life. But the Salamanders did it in a way that you could resettle afterwards, while the Death Guard, not so much.
Yep.
Death Guard, I think, would relentlessly advance to C tier.
I say B tier.
Okay. Bottom of B?
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Without them,
that's
like,
solid.
Without the Death Guard, the oh god, what are they called? Not the Mortat, because that's a unit. The Titan Legion starts with an M.
Legio Mortis?
Yeah, Legio Mortis would have never been able to fully be corrupted and make it to Terra and deal as much damage as they did. God, that book was good.
And now we get to the Thousand Suns.
Hey, remember the time I broke your Primarch's back? I ripped out your heart. Yeah, but who's going to remember that part?
The Thousand Suns were led by Magnus the Red. Their focus in the Great Crusade was on psychic powers because almost every single one of their legionnaires was a psyker and was capable of using psychic abilities. Their psykers were so strong that other legions feared them, and the entire first company were all sorcerers. They had sorcerer dreadnoughts. Even a bog standard unit of Thousand Sun warriors could use psychic powers against you. They were scary. They were also gatherers of esoteric knowledge, and they tried to apply both their intellect and their psyker abilities against any military problem, finding some solution to it throughout that. But it made them very reliant, of course, on their warp-born abilities. They approached campaigns as ways to acquire or uncover lost lore, or to test out some of their psychic theories. And it put them at odds with a lot of imperial strictures and fear, frankly, from the days of the Unification Wars, when psykers were considered unnatural and evil. Their extensive psychic practices contributed directly to the events leading to the burning of Prospero, not least of which was an event called the Council of Nicaea. We have a whole episode on that. Go check it out. Funny, that's a fun one because Alexis gets to run the first half of that by herself.
Yeah, and I had to try to keep it oh, that one was tough.
Yeah.
Because I summarized things real quick, and trying to keep it going was tough for me.
The Space Wolves destroyed their home city of Tiska and drove them off the planets. There's a lot to it. We'll have to do an episode on the burning of Prospero at some point. But after this moment, after the Space Wolves wrecked their entire culture and their homeworld, the Thousand Suns ultimately decided to side with Horus and with Chaos. They aligned with Tzeentch, and they played an increasingly important role through the latter stages of the Heresy and the Siege of Terra. So these guys, relevance very high.
They also destroyed the Emperor's projects, which ultimately got the Emperor wounded, and kept the Custodians, for the most part, out of the battle. Like, they are hugely important.
Right. They also got some serious style.
Yeah. They have the coolest dreadnoughts.
Their dreadnoughts look good. They have their own special vital automata. Their librarians look rad as hell. They have this beautiful red and white color scheme. Yeah, these guys have one of the best, in my opinion, one of the best styles of all the stuff we're talking about today. They're high in terms of style.
All right, what about their characters outside of Magnus? They have Ahriman.
Ozek Ahriman, Aemon.
Super important.
Yeah, Magistus Aemon. They've got
they have Iskandar Kion.
Iskandar Kion. Yeah, which doesn't have a model, but damn.
Yeah, they have a huge number of important characters.
And the guy who would become Janus, who would eventually be the first Grandmaster of the Grey Knights.
Mm-hmm.
The Webway Project is what she's talking about, Rush. The Webway Project is what they're talking about. We have an episode on what if Magnus had not heeded the Emperor's words. Go check that out. So what if? And we talk about the Webway Project and on why that was such a big deal in that episode.
And Rush was also asking what book. It's Mortis and Titan Death. Both are really good. Any book with Titans fighting is good in my book. Now, for style, they are amazing. For even as on with just gameplay, they're really powerful.
Can I
They're
can I show some
yeah, of course.
images? Why don't you pull that down?
Like, look at that dude. He kind of looks sad, but look at that dude.
He's the least of their guys, I should say.
Oh. Did you mean to put that down? Okay.
Because let's look at their dreadnought now.
Okay. Bob. The Webway project was stupid. Agreed.
Check out their dreadnought. Look at this boy.
Yeah.
Look at all the detail on that thing. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's a really
that guy
good
looks
looking dreadnought.
Cool as hell. This is the Osiris dreadnought. This is the one that is actually a dreadnought and a psyker at the same time, and has a force weapon attached to his arm.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have one last one I'd like to bring up, and this is their librarian console, which is the coolest looking librarian console in the game, in my opinion. Now that we're talking, I know this is very subjective, but it's worth. This is one of the reasons why I want to show off as many as I can. When we talk about style, I want you guys to see what we mean. They look. I think this guy looks amazing and really, really good.
Yep.
Now we have
what's
super chat.
Really funny. Oh, go ahead.
No, you finish.
So what's really funny about the Legion is every time I play against it, most people just use the 40k miniatures for it, because it's a lot cheaper to get a 40k miniature than it is to get a Horus Heresy miniature.
And you get 2 armies instead of 1. I mean, yep. It makes perfect sense to me, even though their models for 30k look really good.
Yep, but they're now too small, which is weird.
Necromancer Kobold says, while not a literal death, Jagatai's burn to Mortarian's pathetic hypocrisy makes the scars deserving of A tier above the Death Guard, one of my favorite verbal spars in Heresy. Okay, white scars to A tier above the Death Guard. Or B tier, sorry. No, deserving of A tier. So A tier for sure. Okay, there we go.
Okay, we'll put them at the top of A tier. There we go. We did it.
Necromancer Kobold, they did. The fists are still in A. They haven't gone to S yet.
And again, just to remind people, Night Lords have a shield and Dark Angels have a shield. Nothing else has a shield because all other shields are broken.
Where Thousand Suns special units, they have as we've said, the Librarian Dreadnoughts. They have the special battle automata that they can control with their psychic abilities. Yes, they had robots that had psychic circuitry that they could control from a distance, which is pretty awesome. They had the Sekhmet Terminators, which were their special first company Terminators. They had the combined sorcery and heavy armor. And they had the Kenetai Occult, which were their duelists. These were psyker elites that had 2 force weapons. And they would come in and things were the Kenetai Occult were the guardians of the individual cult temples on Prospero, which were really cool. Thousand Suns, I'm going to say A tier.
I am going to agree with you. I'm going to say probably here, though.
And I think you could argue putting them in S.
Oh, so you want them top of A?
I don't know. What do you think? I think they're straddling it personally, but
okay, without Magnus, the heresy didn't happen.
Right.
Like, yeah, that's the big thing.
Flat out. Plus, they were at the Siege of Terra. Plus, burning of Prospero.
Like, again, if Magnus didn't stop the custodians, because breaking the webway stopped most of the custodians and the Sisters of Silence, if they had those full forces on Terra, the Legion of Runestorm Demons would have been obliterated. The Psychic Storm would have been stopped. Magnus would, well, probably still remain loyal. But yeah.
S tier or A tier?
A tier.
Okay. Ice Veins is saying that there was a shield on the White Scars.
Oh, yep. Okay. But so, now there isn't.
Now there is not a shield.
There we go.
Very flavorful, says Ceresco, and their character shows through the models. I agree. Oh, you also have a Leviathan Dreadnought as your avatar, and they are my favorite Dreadnought. They are the best version of the Dreadnought, in my opinion.
Well, you don't like the Saturnine? It looks silly. I love it.
Saturnine does look cool, but I think Leviathan is still my favorite. All right, now we get to the Lunar Wolves. I mean the Sons of Horus. I mean the Lunar Wolves. I mean the Black
Sons
Legion.
of Lunar.
I mean the Black Legion.
Yes.
The Sons of Horus.
I have a confession here.
Mm.
I never once cared about the Sons of Horus. Like, as weird as it is, they're super important. But in my opinion, they are so generic as a villain that almost nothing of theirs, aside from their characters, stand out to me.
They have a lot of great characters. They
Yes.
do. They have some of the best characters, honestly.
Like Little Horus.
Yeah. Horus Aximand is what you mean.
Yeah.
Malagurus the Twisted, Varen Ashuradan. They have
Abaddon.
Yeah, Abaddon, of course, and Horus himself. They have arguably, like, a lot of models are made as Sons of Horus, like the Esoterist and the
torturer guy. I can't remember his name.
Yeah. Horus Aximand. Tybalt Mar is also another great character. The Dark Emissary is their own specific council. That dude looks cool as shit.
Somebody's saying Garrow for a bit, but that wasn't Garrow.
No.
That Garrow was.
You're thinking of Loken.
Yeah, Loken. Torgaradon, yeah.
Garviel Loken. And there's Tergaden. There's Iacton Cruz. Iacton Cruz is a great character. I wish he had a model. They call him the Half Herd, if you remember him.
I don't think I've ever fought a Sons of Horus army. Which is a strange sentence to say.
I have a friend of mine who has won painting competitions with his Sons of Horus. They look amazing.
Oh, that's nice. Have you played against them?
Yes, and they're nasty as hell. They are a top tier legion. There's no question about it, in my opinion. Their rules are solid, and the Justarin are fucking amazing. The Justarin are possibly the best special Terminator squad in the game. Justarin are really good.
Oh, I would argue the Solarite, Power Gauntlet, Storm Shield Terminators.
No, the Huskarls. The Huskarls are the number one. Yeah, you're right about that. Huskarls are unbeatable. But in the tier right below the Huskarls is the Justarin. They're really good. They're shockingly good. Them and the I would put the second tier would be the Cenobium, the Justarin, and
I'd put the Justarin above the Cenobium. Because the Cenobium are good into anything but Terminators.
Okay, fair. And
they're insanely good at killing. They're insanely good at killing every Dreadnought in the entire game.
Varangier would also go in that category, in my opinion.
Yeah, the Varangar. Yeah. All right. Is
that how it's pronounced, Varangar, even though it's Varagbyr?
That's how I've always pronounced it.
Okay. I wondered if that was a specific thing, like you knew, or just a weird pronunciation you used. So I was like, I don't know.
No, it's just that's the way I've always heard anyone else pronounce it, is the Varangar.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the Sons of Horus, in the 16th Legion, they started out as the Luna Wolves, which is a name that they earned due to their assault on Luna, which is a hell of a story. I would love to tell it sometime. They served under Horus, who became the War Master of the Imperium after the victory at Eleanor. The Sons of Horus had a particular style of battle called the Spearhead that made them a premier shock assault and combined arms legion with a specialty at removing enemy leadership. They were, the tip of the spear was basically you go in, you kill the guy in charge, and then you mop up everybody around it.
Now, do you want to hear something funny, Ross? That's exactly what a two-handed spear user does. Right. They kill squad leaders, and they create openings.
The Sons of Horus
fight with a two-handed spear. So
that's right. The Sons of Horus gained a reputation for decisive, large-scale operations and for close personal ties between Horus and his officers. There was a group called the Mournival, which were his most trusted advisors. Loken was one of these. Torgaden was one of these. Cruz was one of these, and so was Little Horus Aximand. But after Horus was elevated to War Master, he became corrupted, and the Legion became the core of the traitor host. The Sons of Horus led major operations like the Isstvan massacres, both 3 and 5, and they ultimately spearheaded the assault on Terra, serving as Horus's personal instrument in the Civil War, and took enormous losses during the whole thing. Even so, after the Siege of Terra was officially over and the Heresy had ended, the Sons of Horus still formed the core of what is still the largest chaos force in existence, the Black Legion.
After almost all of them were hunted down and destroyed by all the legions.
Indeed.
Even the traitor legions.
Ice Vein says, Super Chat says, I put 20 on the White Scars, 10 to move them, and 10 to shield them, unless I missed something. We did to D tier. You wanted them to D tier. Is that what you said, Ice Veins? And we didn't. I'm confused.
Oh, didn't somebody move them to S
to A? I think they got moved to A. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
And I think they 20'd it to move them. I could be wrong.
Alexis is the keeper of the records here. You'll have to take it up.
I wish we had one of our mods with us to help.
Yeah, so Necro came in and put him to A. That's what I think happened.
Okay, yeah.
Sorry, Ice Veins. I believe you were beaten by sheer numbers on that one.
Yeah, because I know they were moved a lot.
So, hi Raiders. We got Raiders coming in from the Lore Master of Sotek. Thank you so much, guys. Welcome. We're tier listing the Horus area legions. We're talking about the Sons of Horus. So, the Sons of Horus are. We're grading these guys on three things. We're grading them on their relevance in the Heresy, we're grading them on their style, and we're grading them on their special units. The Sons of Horus were S tier just for their involvement. Like, the Heresy doesn't happen without them.
Yeah, duh.
So no, they're definitely that high. In terms of style, their style's strong. Their style
is really nice. It's way better than the yellow that they're always paired against.
Well, I will argue that the Imperial Fists have a lot of style too, but the Sons of Horus have really strong style.
Look, the Sons of Horus, awesome, good color palette. The Imperial Fist, bananas, makes me hungry, and I want banana bread.
The Reaver Attack Squads is one of their special units. It's not their best, but the Justarin, which are their black armored elite Terminators and the personal shock troops of Horus himself, those guys are so good.
Yeah, they are really good.
The Justarin just kind of overshadow everything else, frankly. They also get a special console, which is called the what is it called? Damn it. The Dark Emissary.
Not called, damn it.
The Dark Emissary. They have their own console called the Dark Emissary, he's also amazing. They have so many really great named characters. I don't see a way to not put them in S tier.
The Dark Emissary can be used by any chapter or any legion.
Right.
I have one of my Dark Angels.
That you're okay. So the Dark Emissary can, but he is a even when he's with another legion, he's a Sons of Horus.
Maybe. I haven't checked his lore in a while, but I know I could just take him as a Dark Angel.
They're the eyes of the War Master. They're sent out to observe and guide the other legions.
Yeah.
So you can have him. You can certainly have him in your Dark Angels army, but he's still a Sons of Horus guy.
Oh, that's cool.
He's an enforcer.
There's the Esoterus also that they
Esoterus is not the same thing. No.
Yeah.
The Dark Emissary is specific to the Sons of Horus Legion.
Yep.
That's what I'm trying to say. And he looks really great. He's a really sweet-ass looking model.
I'm trying to see if there's anything else that they have that's like super unique to them.
Well, they got three versions of Horus. They got Horus Ascended and Horus the War Master and the Clone.
Yeah.
Their helmets look really good too, I should say.
Their Legion Praetor doesn't look that great though. The one not in Terminate armor.
No, but check out the Champion.
Yeah, the Champion looks really good. But
the Champion looks rad as hell. That dude is ready to kick your ass.
Yeah, I think is the Champion also one that can be taken by anybody?
Well, yeah, but they have two versions. They have a Sons of Horus version and they have an Imperial Fist version. Anyway, are we saying S tier for Sons of Horus?
Oh, I mean, yeah.
I don't see a way not to do it.
Yeah.
Super chat from Gaston. Hey, no one super chats like Gaston. It says, keep the scars at A regardless. I refuse to let them be down with the wolves. Also, Stormseers are a better tribal psyker who doesn't deny he's a psyker.
Agreed.
Good. Very good. I agree. The White Scars now have a shield.
Okay, so the White Scars got a shield again.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
That is the shield.
No one protects like Gaston.
No one protects like Gaston. All right, now we get to the other super important chapter or super important legion.
I mean,
the Heresy would not exist without these guys.
Yeah, we know where these are going.
We do. There's no question about it, but we have to talk about them first. The Word Bearers, the 17th Legion.
With the Galvor back. Oh my god, I love these guys. But we have a super chat first.
Wait, Ice Veins, White Scars to D with a shield. Let's be clear this time.
So they have a shield right now.
So they will not have a shield after this, Ice Veins.
So you pop the shield and then you move them, which means they don't have a shield.
Correct.
Okay.
There we go. Ice Veins. Oh, Zog, says Gaston. Oh, Zog. Love it. All right. Word Bearers. They were commanded by Lorgar, the Aurelian. They spent the Great Crusade attempting to turn imperial compliance into religious devotion, which got them in major, major trouble. They built cults of worship around the emperor despite his prohibition of faith and religion. Their fleets moved very slowly. They focused on preaching and ideological transformations more than military conquest, which led them to be punished. The Emperor and the Ultramarines punished them very severely at a place called Monarchia. And this is what set everything in motion for the Horus Heresy.
Now, unrelated, related to them, they made the Lectitio Divinitatis. Okay? Super important. It inspired Nathaniel Garrow, who ultimately defeated Mortarion, possibly. But he's responsible for the creation, for the most part, of the Sisters of Battle.
No.
Unintentionally.
No.
So he made the Lectitio Divinitatis. The Lectitio Divinitatis was used to make the Imperial Faith. The Imperial Faith created the Sisters of Battle. No. Thus, he's ultimately responsible for them.
No. There's one man responsible for the Sisters of Battle, and you know his name.
Yes.
Goge Van Dyer is the guy who's responsible for the Sisters of Battle.
But he's a practitioner of the faith that was created.
Yeah, but don't take it away. Van Dyer was a pimp, and we all know this.
Yeah.
He was a pimp who said, hey, an all-female unit of extremely good bodyguards, yes, they will be mine. I will make them my brides.
Yep.
And he brought them in. Van Dyer is the one responsible.
But even 10,000 years later, after reading and
influenced it.
Yeah, and after the constant retcons and everything to Lectitio Divinitatis, Gilliman finally read it and was just like, God damn it, Logar.
So after they were humiliated, Lorgar was guided by Erebus, fucking Erebus. It always comes down to Erebus. We have a whole episode on Erebus. Go check it out.
Mm-hmm.
He turned to the powers of chaos. The Word Bearers became the very first legion to openly embrace chaos worship. They orchestrated or catalyzed all of the key events of the heresy, including the corruption of other legions, the spreading of cult behavior,
the
Ruin Storm, the betrayal at Calth. These guys, they used demonic forces and mass rituals, but the Horus Heresy revolves around them. They are the hub of that wheel. Without even talking about the other two things, they're S tier.
Yep.
But we need to talk about the other two things.
Well, the other two have shields right now. The Night Lords and the Dark Angels have shields. Nothing else has a shield. But if Imperial Fists get into the top, they go back down because of another super chat.
Right. So the Word Bearers have the Action Circle, which are these assault units that focus on destroying enemy symbols and morale. They're not that great, but they also have the Galvor back. The Galvor back they're the first possessed Marines.
They're back girls.
The Galvorback are pretty awesome. They also have a demonically possessed dreadnought as a special unit, and that thing is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
We got
They also have
Benjamins.
weird plasma flamer, not plasma flamers. They have weird psychic plasma, sometimes warp flamers.
It's Warp Flame, not plasma.
Yeah.
Benjamin says, fuck Erebus. Get up. If you know, you know. That is from the moment Erebus was confronted by, I can't remember who he was confronted by. I have to look that up. But Erebus, yeah, I agree with you. he is a real bastard, and fuck Erebus is kind of the thing that brings together all of 40K.
But he's such a good villain. He is such a good villain because he's so hateable and he has such a punchable face.
He has an extremely punchable face.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about their style?
Absolutely love it.
Yeah, Karn. Karn is the one who says it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Karn beats the shit out of him.
Yeah, that was before Karn went fully, Karn.
Which is weird because Karn went berserk and then calmed down.
So let's talk about their style. As far as style goes for the word bearers, I mean, the Galvorback Arkeltal, by the way, one of their characters looks great. Zardu, yeah, Sebastian Muller. I agree with the other super chat. Fuck Erebus. It is the one thing that brings together everyone in the room in a 40K tournament. You've got Zardu Layak and the Blade Slaves. Those guys look cool. You've got their Legion Praetor is actually really nice.
Everything they have is super cool. I can't wait for the updated range of all of their characters and everything.
So style-wise,
I do wish that Heresy 3rd edition would get more updates quicker because, oh my god, I'm so sick of playing with my little resin Terminators next to my tactical Marines that are bigger than them.
Got a super chat from Nestor Vitumber. He says, Lord Perturabo has informed me that the Imperial Fists must be downgraded immediately, or you and everyone in the chat will be replaced by Iron Circle Lore Automata. I can see that. Send in the next wave. Is that all the way to the bottom, Nestor Vitumber? I'm assuming it is.
Now if they go back up, they go back down.
Yeah, well, if they go up to S, that's for sure.
Yeah, they just go right back down.
Man. So style-wise, I think the word bearers are strong. Their special units are strong. It's S tier. I feel like we're wasting time even debating any other placement.
Yeah.
Frankly.
Honestly, they should be the absolute top of S tier, and the only reason they're not is because of 2 shields.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get on with talking about the Salamanders, the 18th Legion.
Everybody's friends, unless you're an Eldar, then you'll burn alive.
They were led by Vulcan, and they distinguished themselves in the Great Crusade with a strong humanitarian ethic and a focus on protecting civilian populations. They used a lot of flame-based and artisan-crafted weaponry. They fought in support or heavy assault roles, and their culture emphasized duty, especially to ordinary humanity. And their campaign was kind of slow because they wanted to safeguard and rebuild the worlds of humanity. There are no good guys in 40K. The Salamanders are close to the less evil. They are on the less evil side of the spectrum, though.
Like, keep in mind, if you disagree with the Imperium or the Imperial Truth, they will burn you alive.
They will burn you alive, but they will try to keep civilians from getting in the crossfire. Yep. The Salamanders remained loyal during the Heresy. They did suffer catastrophic losses at the Drop Site Massacre, along with the Raven Guard and the Iron Hands. And many of their forces, and Vulcan himself was struck down, but Vulcan got better because he's a perpetual. Then he got struck
down. Then he got up. Then he got struck down. Then he got up. Now he's a Terzine. Maybe.
We don't know. Though they were crippled, the Legion did continue to resist the traitors in scattered actions, and their devotion to self-sacrifice for the Imperium became a defining part of their legacy into the post-Heresy era. Relevance is low. The only time they really show up is Istvan 5, and that's where they get just utterly wrecked.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about their style?
I absolutely love them in 40K. 30K, they're really cool because they have that entire Flamer Melta unit, which is really powerful.
The Pyroclasts.
Yeah, the power class are really cool. They also have those Drake skin Terminators, which are pretty cool.
Fire Drake Terminators, yep.
Yeah, those things are really, really cool. I really like those. I can't name a single character they have.
Vulcan has
Well, aside from Vulcan.
aside from Vulcan, they don't have any characters. Not really.
Yeah, like I can't even name any from books.
So style-wise, I think they're fine. I wouldn't say they're great. I wouldn't say they're bad.
I would say in 40K, they're a lot more aesthetically pleasing. In 30K, it kind of felt like, well, we both know that GW didn't commit to making them like African, like they
Right.
should have. They kind of bitched out at the last minute and made really racist lore, which is terrible, honestly. I really liked it when they were like the more darker skinned, salamanders. Like
I was there. I was there when that change happened. I remember it.
It was very weird. It felt completely forced and out of left field. It changed their entire, like, in my opinion, it changed them from being like a really, really cool, like something that people could look up to kind of a just, oh, that's a Matt Warding. Because he was the one that ultimately wrote that.
Well, I don't think I wouldn't put it on his shoulders. I think that was probably
no, but that's where the community puts it because he wrote the book that it was in, even though it was not his decision to do.
Well, I think they are C tier, in my opinion.
Yes.
Their special units elevate them. The special units they have better special units than the World Eaters, but not as good as the Ultramarines. I would put them right after Ultramarines.
Yeah, no, I like the World Eaters a bit more. I think the World Eaters do more in the Heresy than the Salamanders did.
Okay, that's legit.
Yeah.
That's legit. All right. Unfortunately,
also, I like this comment. Hard agree. I paint mine with black human skin tone, not the ashen coal skin. Yeah, because it just looks better.
Unfortunately, that's about all we have to say about Salamanders.
Yeah, there's not much.
The 19th Legion are the Raven Guard, and the Raven Guard were led by their Primarch Corax. And during the Great Crusade, they developed a doctrine that centered on stealth and infiltration and sabotage, precise hit-and-run attacks, assassination. They were masters of guerrilla warfare amongst the legions. Which
is really weird for 8 foot tall, 3,000 pound Marines.
Well, this is true of both the Raven Guard and the Alpha Legion are going to have a lot of these two guys have a lot of crossover here. The Raven Guard often worked ahead of the main fleets to cripple defenses and assassinate leadership or sow confusion, so that the larger Imperial forces could achieve a compliance in a rapid amount of time. They were a loyalist legion, and they were one of the 3 legions betrayed at the Dropside Massacre on Istrid V, where they were mauled by multiple traitor legions. Afterwards, their numbers were very depleted, and they had to wage a prolonged shadow war against traitor supply lines and installations rather than participating directly in the heresy. So they just were mostly covert tactics and scattered little sabotage groups after the Isfin 5 massacre. They were better off than the Iron Hands because they didn't lose their Primarch, and they were better off than the Salamanders because while the Salamanders lost their Primarch, he did get better. The Raven Guard never lost their Primarch. Corax made it off-world. He was the only Primarch to make it off-world on his own. Because Vulcan was taken away by Conrad.
Yep. Now, I love the way they look. I absolutely love it. I love the Dark Furies. I think they're incredible looking. I like Nyx as a captain. I think he's really cool. What are they called? The Mordathan are a really powerful unit.
They have surprisingly good Terminators, the Deliverers.
Yes, for some reason their Terminators are insanely good and have really cool lore.
But they never get used because they're Terminators.
Yeah, exactly.
Katie's Next is very cool. The Blood Crow. They have that really special jump pack that looks awesome. The Dark Furies have it.
Mm-hmm.
The more Dathans are very cool. They have some style, but their relevance is very low.
Yeah, unfortunately, aside from getting absolutely obliterated, they're not really known for anything else.
So for me, that's bottom of B or top of C.
Yeah, I'm putting them at the bottom, at the top of C. I think that's where they belong. They look really cool and they're really powerful on the tabletop. But man, are they just so weird.
Rush
Because
says I
there's
want
nothing about them.
Rush says I want the wings on their jump packs for an Alarium unit for Blood Angels. Yes, I would
Yes.
absolutely steal those jump packs for Blood Angels in a second.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now let's talk about the very last Legion, the 20th Legion,
Wait,
the
what
Alpha Legion.
No, they're not there. Ross, there's no such thing as the Alpha Legion. Ross, calm yourself.
Hydra Dominatus. So the Alpha Legion, this is the final of our legions we're going to be talking about today. They were led by...
There is one quote that I absolutely love, and it comes from Rogel Dorn when talking to Alfarius, and it's, "No, I'm just going to kill you."
That's right.
God, it hits so hard.
But was it Alfarius that he killed?
Yes.
Not necessarily. Remember that the Alpha Legion are always going to be written differently every time they do it. So
yeah, but the author of the book did confirm that was Alfarius.
That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah,
because unless it's in a rulebook or a codex, that doesn't necessarily mean anything. His intentions are clear. I think we could say that. Who was the writer of that book? Just out of curiosity.
Oh my god, I forgot. I could look it up.
The Alpha Legion was led by twin Primarchs, Alfarius and Omegon, and is characterized in the Great Crusade by deep cover operations, deception, sabotage, complex, multi-layered plans, and often working behind enemy lines for long periods of time. They prefer indirect measures. They subvert enemy regimes. They foster insurgencies. They turn the foe upon themselves. They are not about battlefield glory. During the Heresy, the Alpha Legion joined Horus, participated in major traitor actions such as the Dropside Massacre. Their true long-term agenda remains ambiguous, although I am here to tell you with authority, they are traitors. They are not secret loyalists. They are traitors.
Okay, I think the book was Praetorian of Dorn.
Was it? Okay. And who wrote that?
Oh, God,
John French wrote that?
Let's see. Waiting for stuff to load.
Well, John French is a friend of mine, and if John French says it's Alfarius, then I guess it's Alfarius, because I will trust him.
Oh, the Sons of Hydra. Oh, God, why are there so many books?
Anyway, the involvement of the Alpha Legion in the Heresy is basically the same as it is almost anywhere else in 40K and 30K. It's misinformation. Yeah. The book is Praetorian, and it was by John French. Okay, you know what? Yep. If John French says it's Alfarius, it's Alfarius.
But I think, well, what he said was, it was Alfarius for all intents and purposes because he's gone now. But the Legion did suffer a psychic backlash from him being gone.
Well, which is weird. That's not the same as saying it's Alfarius.
Omegon is the one that's possibly alive.
Well, the point is that the Alpha Legion is always about misdirection. Double agents, operations whose ultimate allegiance is unclear. They like to leave their precise role in anything shrouded in mystery. And Games Workshop loves it that way. The Alpha Legion will never be written the same way twice. Anything you know anything that you believe is true about the Alpha Legion, think about it again, because that may or may not be the accurate thing. And that's true. That's true everywhere. I will say that's true in the novels. It's less true in the codexes and rulebook, but the Alpha Legion are always going to be, I'm not sure. It's going to be the best answer you can give.
It was weird that they were an enemy in Dawn of War 1.
Well, not necessarily. I mean, they can certainly present themselves as that kind of enemy.
Yeah, but it's like the characters that they presented was just, this is word bearers, but we didn't get the right to use word bearer, so we made them Alpha Legion.
They have some really good special units. They have the Headhunter kill teams, which are basically a Seeker Squad that's been upgunned.
Mm-hmm.
And header kill teams are very good. Liurnian Terminators are they're Lernaean Terminators are their first company special unit. These guys are a little bit awkward. They can be good, but they can also be a waste. It just depends on how you gear them up and where you put them on the battlefield.
Yep.
So their special units I would say, are good. What about their style?
My God, it is the coolest paint style in the history of forever. It actually was the inspiration for other like paint companies to make changing colored paints. Like Turbo Dork has a whole line dedicated to the Alpha Legion. I absolutely love painting them. They're incredible. It is very weird that you paint them like bright silver and then you do their metallics.
They do look really good. They have
Mhm.
great special helmets. They have great iconography. The scales and the cloaks and all that stuff really works. If you ever look at Exodus or their Saboteur console, the Saboteur console looks great. Exodus looks great.
Yeah. And Exodus is arguably a named character, but
he is one who is many.
Yeah, he definitely is a character, all right. We'll just say that.
Ice Veins. Monopoly money towards Alpha Legion to put them just behind the Night Lords.
That will eat up the Dark Angel shield. So
okay.
That puts them
right behind the Dark. Yeah, that works.
Yeah.
Alpha Legion are remarkably interesting in the Heresy. And remarkably cool looking on the battlefield, I would say. I almost made a Alpha Legion army a couple of times.
Yeah, the Alpha Legion are so good.
Also,
you get every special unit from every army.
You can. Yeah, you can collect them. You can Pokemon your way through the other legions if you really want to. Guess which is the most commonly selected unit for that, Alexis?
Probably the Imperial Fist dudes. But honestly, I see them taking more Dathan than anything else.
They take according to what I've read on the internet, so take this with a grain of salt. Boop. But according to what I've read on the internet, it is the Invictara Suzerains who get picked the most often.
That's weird.
They're really good. Invictara Suzerains are really good.
That's the Ultramarine guys, right?
Yes.
They strike at initiative 5. They have strength 5, AP 3, AP 2 on the on 5s and 6s. They have like 4 attacks apiece, which is really good. But I don't know.
Jalapeno poppers. So Dark Angels have no shield. They have no shield right now.
They have no shield.
And we are at the end. We're at our last 15 minutes. So if you want to move anything around, this is your final opportunity.
It's the final countdown.
Okay. This has been fun. Looking at this list, I can see very little that I would change per se. Oh, wait.
Uh-oh.
Necromancer Kobolds coming in with a super chat. Make a second Alpha Legion and put one in S, the other in Dogs. I am Alfarius. We are Alfarius, and this is a lie. Hydra Dominatus. This is my favorite Legion. You know what? That is the most Alpha Legion thing I can think of. That legitimately is the most Alpha Legion thing I can think
of. Let me see if I can do that real quick.
Do you need to know? Do you need some help?
No, I just need to... Let me put this down really quickly, and then I will do that.
Necromancer Kobold, that's a great move. That is... Alfarius and Omega would be proud of you for doing that. Excellent choice, sir, says Ice Veins.
My microphone is right in the way of my keyboard, and it's always hard to type.
Yeah, the Alpha Legion, I prefer the 30K version of the Alpha Legion to the other... to the 40K version. There's the Space Wolves. I think Space Wolves and Ultramarines are like the top two where I'm like, I prefer the post Heresy version. But almost everything else, I think the Heresy has better lore, better characters, better vibe or feel for the Legion, because the Legions were much more monolithic. They were much more of a institution than the chapters that we would see later on. I mean, you can argue that the Ultramarines of 40K are the opposite. Like, they became an institution only after the Heresy. But, like, the Imperial Fists in the Heresy are so much more interesting than the Fists in 40K. Oh, look at that giant Hydra down there, just waiting, just chilling. Yeah, Fists are one of the ones that, if on my personal scale, Fists would be S tier. Space Wolves would not be D tier, but Iron Hands would definitely be there.
Oh, if I were to do this, I think. Oh, I think word bearers would be number one. I definitely think that. Imperial Fist would be higher, but not the highest. Iron Warriors would probably be in third behind Thousand Suns. Because I think all the traders are deserving of the highest placements on this. Because most of the loyalists just kind of get blown up and die. Or get their legions exploded.
Well, I mean, some of these legions are deservedly in the doghouse, if you will, at the bottom there.
Teehee.
Devin Urbina, I don't like the new Ultramarine characters. I like the Ultramarines better in 40k than I like them in 30k.
Okay, controversial opinion. I like that new model, and I'm going to buy him. I think he's really, really cool. I think that Ultramarines need another named character? Absolutely fucking not. Am I still going to buy it because I'm an idiot and can't control spending? Yes.
Trying to find this guy on the Warhammer 40k community site. I guess I don't see him there. Where am I? Where should I be looking? Oh, there he is. Okay, I found Caius. Caius is the new named character. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks cool. He looks cool, but he's not. He looks cool, but he's not 30k, and that's why, you know, he improves the 40k side of the Ultramarines, not the 30k side.
Do you remember the fake Primarch that came out by Games Workshop around the same time as the War of the Beast series? The false Primarch? God. I remember that storyline, and it was so bad.
Well, we got a super chat to read here.
Yes.
Rush 210129. The disrespect to Sanguinius from the two of you will not be forgotten and will be avenged. Dark Angels to dog tier for not putting the Blood Angels in A. So feel the darkness in our blood. Dark Angels to dogs. Oh, Rush, why? Oh,
my
pain.
Favorite Legion.
Listen, I love Blood Angels. You know that. I do. I love the Blood Angels. They suffer in 30k, and I would argue also the Blood Angels are kind of like the Ultramarines. I think they're more interesting in 40k than they are in 30k. But yeah, I mean, I get where you're coming from, buddy. The Blood Angels are really cool. Sanguinius is awesome. I wish I could rank them higher, but I feel like they're in the right place. Rush logically. Nevertheless, you paid for it. Dark Angels to dogs. Damn it. Well, at least they're down there with the Space Wolves. That gives us, both of them in the same place.
Yep.
Friend or traitor, the whims of Zeech are mutable and perfidious. Yet the favored see consistency in the inconsistent. Let the Space Wolves be elevated to be and know that they owe all that they are to the architect. Love it. Oh my God. Love it. Blood Angels and Space Wolves exist on the same tier now. That's fine. And Emperor's Children. That B tier is strong. Those are all strong choices for B tier.
Yeah, it is.
We originally put Dark Angels in A with the Thousand Suns. Fists could also go in A. Iron Hands and White Scars probably belong in D. I hate to say it, but I think they do.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Alpha Legion I would not put in S, but they're
I think I'd put in C.
Light Lords probably also in C. Word Bears, Iron Warriors, the Sons of Horus all deserve S. Unquestionably deserve S.
Yeah.
So that's a heck of a ranking, y'all. Oh, wait, we got Gaston. No one super chats like Gaston. Scars to A. The Khan accidentally told Russ, see you in hell. It was pretty funny. Also, basically, no one turned true traitor. I mean, Erebus. Erebus is pretty much a true traitor. Typhon is a true traitor. Corfarin.
Okay.
I think there are some people out there who are true traitors, Gaston. But,
okay, so the Night Lord's shield is gone at this point.
Nobody has a shield then, I think.
No one has a shield. There's only one thing that happens, and it's currently if the Imperial Fists go to S tier, they go down.
So don't even bother. That's probably the best deterrent I can think of, is to just pay for don't put them in S tier or else. That's pretty, because you'd have to be pretty fucking passionate about the Fist to put them up there.
Now, I'm just gonna say this right now. if somebody wants to super chat and throw the Demon Legion on here, Legion Demonica, I'm good. I'm down for it.
Oh, you were talking about the White Scars. Okay, yeah, fair enough. That's right. Gaston, you're right. Now, I want to be clear. You're talking about in the books and stuff. That's cool. But to be clear, every single Legion, all of them, all 18, had traitors and loyalists within their ranks. There were traitor Ultramarines. There were loyalist World Eaters. There were traitor Iron Hands. There were loyalist Death Guard. Pick any Legion. The Legions were huge. You know, some of them, the Ultramarines had like 250,000 Space Marines. And they had a lot more agency. They had a lot more agency and personality in those eras. This is before the Hypno indoctrination came along. So yeah, you can say a Legion remained loyal, right? You can say the White Scars remained loyal, and you can say there were no true traitors, and that is all backed up by lore. That is all accurate. But it is not accurate to say that there were no traitors in the White Scars, period, because there were. There were traitors amongst all of them.
That Night Lords don't have a shield.
Well, hey.
And if a loyal Dark Angel fan were to see Night Lords there.
Salamander's traitors Risolos had less people than a soccer match. That's true. They got the Salamanders, the Iron Hands, and the Raven Guard all got absolutely face rolled during ISFID 5. And the Raven Guard had so few people left that the Emperor took pity on him. Was like, go talk to the Selenites. Here's some material. Go make a whole bunch more Space Marines because you need the help, bro.
Yeah,
you need the help bad.
Yeah, they got obliterated.
The Salamanders were the ones that lost the least? Question mark. I mean, on ISFID 5, they lost a lot. They all did, but the Salamanders were the ones that kind of held it together more than any. Ice Veins, stay away from the Lords of the Night. He's putting a shield on them.
Oh my God, yes.
Well done, Ice Veins.
Oh, that's funny.
All right, Salamanders lost most. No, I'm pretty sure it was the Raven Guard who lost the most. Well, like when we're talking about as a percentage of the Legion, the Raven Guard were already a small Legion. So in terms of raw numbers, they may have lost less. The Salamanders may have lost less. But it's just we're talking like per capita. I think the Salamanders had more remaining percentage, a higher remaining percentage than the Raven Guard or the Iron Hands.
I'm trying to think if the Iron Hands had enough to even form like, a good 1,000 Marines.
They had that many. They definitely did.
Yeah.
And it's not for nothing that they were not every member of their Legion was on ISFID 5, just a large portion.
Yeah.
But we need to talk about us. I'm looking forward to talking about ISFID 5 on our show. And if you guys have enjoyed us getting into the deep dive of the lore of Warhammer 40K and the grim darkness of the far future, do me a favor, hit the like button and the subscribe button so that we can spread our heresy to even more unsuspecting minds through the algorithm. Oh my God, Nestor Vitumbra, last minute. Remove the Imperial Fists and Iron Warriors from the tier list. The Imperial Fists have been destroyed, and the 4th Legion abandons the siege to go play Combat Maze 2000 in the Dodecathon. Wow!
Funny enough, the Imperial Fists have actually been killed down to one man multiple times.
That's true. The Beast, War of the Beast, they did that.
Yep.
So Imperial Fists look so sad in the dogs tier. What if we move them up to S with the Iron Warriors when they go back to down to D?
Okay.
Spitfire.
Right. Hold on. We got one saying remove the Imperial Fist. We can't do that. Right. And the Iron Warriors from the list. So what we'll do is we'll take the Iron Warriors and put them all the way back down. That's as close as we can get. We'll move them both to the last spot.
Yeah.
And then Imperial Fist go up and go back down, don't they?
Yeah, they stay where they're at. They stay where they're at.
Hang on. Boop. And then
There you go. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for today's tier list. We are doing Lorebeards 40K every Wednesday, every Saturday between 2 to 5 Mountain Time. You can catch us on Saturday. Hey, we've got a poll up right now on YouTube if you want to go check it out and vote, because I believe currently we are going to be talking about...
I can't.
The posts. Let's see here. We are currently talking about the Calixus sector.
Ooh, that's your sector.
It is.
That could be fun.
Rename them Black Templars.
I mean, that is really funny.
Nice. You guys have been great. We really appreciate this. Alexis, you got any final thoughts on this tier?
My poor Dark Angels. What the fuck?
I know. Why?
Wait.
Why? Oh, wait.
One more.
Iron Within, Iron Without, Iron in S tier. Damn.
And Spitfire. The Night Lord shield is once again gone. Just saying, if there is any last second donations, they could get rid of the Night Lords from this list and it would be funny.
This is really racing against the clock here. My God. You guys are amazing. We think the lore seeker community is great. If you want to be a lore seeker, if you want to check out like the stuff we're talking about, or maybe even influence what we're going to discuss in the future, go check out our Discord. I'm going to put a link in the chat. You too can become a lore seeker, and we have a pretty active community there. So
yeah, we do.
Recommend it. And that's about it for today.
All right. I'm going to give them a quick countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, we're good. We're good.
And remember, everyone, in the grim darkness of the far future,
there is only lore.
Thank you so much, everybody. Cheers.
Iron within, iron without.